violation of risk management policies of APO. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
So back to Bob. So I'm just like, I have to figure out like, like what's going on. So I just like do some quick research. What's going on with this? So I found using Google reverse image search, which is AI, AI. Then I saw this discriminating cartoons and comics and funny. So I found it, but like there's nothing else on it. So I think, all right, maybe this store's real. Let's look. Anyone but Bob's. I looked in the immediate DMV Delaware areas. Closest I got is a place called Bob's Discount Furniture and Mattress Store. I think you've seen the ads, but it's weird to have an anyone but Bob store and Bob's store that's about mattresses. I don't know, just hard. So it really makes you wonder, like, what was Bob cooking? And then I thought back to it. I'm like, I'm doing this presentation on risk management. Like, obviously, there was a lot of thought put into this. Like, you can see the beautiful slides. I think there's a message here. And then I thought, like, looked back. I was like, all right, let's read the next slide. Social media and alcohol. Portraying alpha phi omega while alcohol presented is not tolerated. So you can't use things like big, little, zeta, sigma, or other terminologies to associate with APO. You can't have APO in your bio and then post like you're, chugging a beer. Members should never wear alpha phi omega clothing where alcohol is involved. And also, you're not allowed, if you're not a brother, you're not allowed to wear that clothing, so you should not give it to like your girlfriend and your boyfriend. No one.
If he was like the honors.
So yeah, so then it's like, okay, we have this social media policy with alcohol, and Bob, check his social media posts. What's going on? So this is where I found this photo, and I just gotta say, like, don't be like Bob. Yeah, he's having a great time. He's looking chill. He's like doing it the best, but like, you just can't wear your APO merch while you're, doing beer pong, chugging beers. Like, yeah, guys, we gotta pull that in. So that's really what I learned. Like, you don't want to be like Bob. You want to represent the chapter rel and follow risk management policies. So yeah, thank you for listening.
Yay!
Bob Fucks.
Bob Fox.
Oh my God!
Dude, nice shirt.
Yeah, thanks.
It's so complicated.
I like how all those overlap.
This is $1 million shirt.
Brandon, did you really present that to like a bunch of rising juniors in college? Is that a real presentation?
No, this was one that a risk chapter or a risk president or whatever, risk secretary, whatever they're called, presented and then shared with the group. I just found this when I was looking through my Google Drive.
Did you add the Bob stuff, or is that already in there?
Oh, it's in there. No, the original photo is in there with Bob.
Okay.
And then,
So you took you took a legit PowerPoint and you added Bob stuff.
yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm trying to
All
switch
right.
back to my laptop, but don't stop.
Colin, is the gummy hitting, or you want to?
It is hitting, so I think I will do my PowerPoint.
Let it ride.
Hell yeah!
I don't want to share my application audio. Other than that, can you see this?
Oh, is someone else sharing now? Watch. Oh my God! I recognize that template. This is a Google slide. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Wait, was
So-
Randy's in PowerPoint or Google Slide?
I'm trying to figure out how I can.
Oh, just thought of it.
The-
Wait, this is a Google Doc.
Okay.
This is a sheet.
Cool. Okay, so now I can see your camera and so see my slides. High tech. So we're gonna talk about fish today. So I don't know if any of you are familiar, but I just thought that this was something that would be interesting. So we're gonna talk about it.
Fish.
We're gonna talk about this fish in particular, the hagfish, which is a fish that has a bunch of characteristics that I will now describe. just to give you a quick overview of where we're going.
I'm
So
excited
the
for
first
slime.
category of the Hagfish presentation is the name, which I think
Table of contents.
tells a lot. Here's a picture of a hagfish, and here are some of the names that it goes by, other than, I
What?
don't know if you knew that, but
Oh
they're
my
named
God.
after hagfish, actually. When you say "you little minx," you're calling somebody one of these creatures.
You little mink.
So let's talk more about the phylogeny there. You can see on the left the evolutionary tree of hagfish. And they belong to the family Myxinidae, which, like I said, comes from the phrase, or is where the phrase "you little minx" comes from. But some other information about the hagfish is that they have not evolved for over 330 million years, which makes them one of the most ancient primitive vertebrates alive today. They're the only animal with a skull and no backbone. There are no other animals like that. And so for a long time, people thought that the backbone developed and then the skull. I don't know if you're familiar with the class Chordata, which is like all creatures with a backbone. Technically a notochord, but people thought that the backbone evolved first, but the hagfish has kind of proven that wrong. And hagfish are the only reason that you can't classify all fish as a taxonomical group without including cows, because technically, thing with a vertebrae, like with a spinal cord, has to belong, because hagfish are so far outside of the evolutionary tree from everything else that you can't classify fish without also including cows. So let's move on to the reproductive system. Hagfish are sequentially hermaphroditic. They
Sequentially?
can switch between male and female, but not
Whoa.
both at the same time, which is kind of like me. So they also release gametes into the cloaca, and they have a good ratio. Let's talk about the sequential
Oh,
hermaphroditic part of this. I fucked up my animations. So they switch between male and female, like I said before. The cloaca is a fancy word for butt. So they basically come out of their asshole. And
Don't we
then
all?
they are always admitted into frat parties because there are generally more females than males of the hagfish. And I'm not sure if like what their deal is, but since they can switch, like that's how they like it. So they always roll up in a good group. We're gonna move on to the horny teeth section now. This is what a hagfish's face looks like. You can see its teeth are very spiky. But an interesting thing about hagfish and the way that they eat is that they eat other fish from the inside out. They will bite a hole into another fish and then slither inside of it, um, and then eat them, which is kind of disgusting, but kind of cool. Also, the way that they latch onto other fish in order to do that to them is that they tie themselves into a knot around the fish. And I don't know why people know this. This is probably why Doge like cut funding to programs like this. There's lampreys, and lampreys tie themselves in an overhand knot, and hagfish, which descended from the same common ancestor, tie themselves in an overhand knot in the opposite direction every single time. So that's weird.
What do you know?
So in case you didn't catch that, they eat other fish from the inside. So we're going to talk about their slime now. Hagfish can secrete a fuck ton of slime. Look at this shit. It's kind of gross. It's like a lot. Hagfish can secrete a liter of slime in less than a second because they secrete these proteins that interact with seawater and create just gallons and gallons of slime. Some real bukkake shit. Look at this.
What? Stop. That's
This is
not
a
real.
true. This is a real picture of a car that was transporting hagfish and got rear-ended, and then they
Oh my god.
That's not real.
with, like,
It's
some-
like,
You
it's
know-
like, of course, the car transporting hagfish gets rear-ended.
That's like from the subreddit, like dragons fucking cars or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah. This is how
Wait,
the
I see.
Pixar's Cars started, right?
Yeah. Someone said this is what Optimus Prime does to you.
So
Why were that fish in the car?
they were moving
Like a
them, they were
normal
transporting
airport.
them.
Legally?
Definitely
no
not.
shot. That is a driving OSHA violation.
I don't think Ocean knew about hagfish. But
Oh,
anyway,
like ocean hagfish.
that's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Very good. I'll take away some action points from that one.
Wow, that was awesome.
I like that.
I presented a couple of slides from that at work today.
Stop.
We know which.
With a straight face.
I mean, yeah. We were like talking about what we were up to this weekend, and I was like, I was working on a presentation about hagfish.
Awesome.
That was
I
big.
like that.
Yeah, come back next week for, I don't know, we'll talk about a different fish. I was gonna like talk about a bunch of different fish, but I felt like that really would have outshined all of the others.
That was amazing.
You really just wanted to talk about hagfish.
I really did.
Yeah.
You know me. I like fish.
Which means you like cows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What is Ryan playing with?
Nothing.
Hey yo.
It's nothing.
Is it mochi?
No.
Oh. I hope that's what the PowerPoint is.
Do we have an
Which-
order? No. So volunteer.
I can go next. Go,
Yay,
Victor.
Victor.
Yeah.
I'm scared to volunteer.
It is scary.
Randy just picked me.
We don't have to.
That was pretty good.
Zach, how many slides is yours?
I sent it. It's 88 slides, but it's mostly just like a lot of clicking. It's
Okay,
a lot
because
of
mine,
just clicking. We won't be there the whole time.
mine's like 50 plus too. So.
Yeah.
Mine was 14.
You don't have to present everything in detail, Dave. It can just be.
Oh,
there.
I won't. I won't be. It would take way too long.
But you can link it so people can dive in.
78's crazy.
Wow.
I like this sound.
Ryan did warn us that his and Ginny's are going
I
to
don't
be
know.
crazy long, so we'll see.
I mean, probably not.
Whoa, I think I know what this is going to be about.
Wow,
That's
this
not
is a
Google
lot
Slides,
of the
I don't know how to review film people.
slides. People.
No, because it was probably sharing them to themselves.
Oh, is anybody recording this?
Yeah, I am.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually
you have been recording
mid Randy's presentation. I was like, oh fuck, are you recording?
I missed a little bit of the start of Randy's, admittedly, trying to fix some audio issues before it started recording, but
You can redo it.
When I pulled Discord back up, were you guys looking at Discord or were you looking at my PowerPoint?
I can
You
see your
the
PowerPoint.
now.
We didn't see any porn. Don't worry.
Yeah, no Discord.
unless you want us to see the porn.
No, Liam has just said that she can't look at you guys.
I've already seen
Yeah, you need a second
Well,
screen.
here, I can join on my phone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, join the
I
phone.
use
It's gotta be a
presenter
separate
mode.
Discord account, though.
No,
Yeah.
I don't have multiple monitors hooked up right now.
Victor, when I did mine, I used presenter mode, and then I just had the like little version of the slides.
Oh,
So
really?
I shared like the browser.
Oh
think it-
yeah, that's a great point.
Hold on. I'm on to
I'm
something.
closing the stream.
Let me cook.
Let him cook.
You ever get a whiff of like your VO and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
I ran out of deodorant earlier this week, so that happened to me, Randy.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Okay, though. I made it to the store.
we can see the PowerPoint, but you.
I knew you were like this at the store.
Dude, I was just trying to walk through there as fast as possible.
Dude, who cares, man?
It was
Just
fresh
buy
after
deodorant.
volleyball practice, too, so
Oof.
it's rough.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, Victor, you worked it out? Because I want to know if it's possible. Oh, okay.
What's here?
Can you still see our beautiful faces? Oh no.
Oh,
That. Oh
Oh,
no.
this is phone.
I
Yeah,
was
this is
gonna
what we were
say
saying.
he
You
can't
need-
do the phone unless it's a separate Discord account. Otherwise, it'll yoink the one off.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
How hard is it to make another Discord account?
You just need another email, I imagine.
Yeah, it's an email away.
I don't know how to make those.
You only got one.
It's
You
almost
can
like
temporary
space.
email, William.
While we're waiting, Colin's presentation reminded me of I dropped it in the hashtag phishing chat. It is a parasite. They're adorable. But what they do is they when you eat them in fish, they grow. The fish will eat them like as they're tiny, and then they grow inside of them, and then they'll crawl up through their esophagus, and they'll latch onto their tongue, and the tongue will get decrepit and fall off, and it will actually replace the function of the fish's tongue, and it will be eating the food that it eats. So it's a parasitic. It's just eating the food as it comes in, and it just kind of lives there as its new tongue. So if you want a nightmare, there you go.
You should have said that before you.
But he looks so cute. They look so innocent.
It
They're
does
just,
look kind of.
and they
I want
just
to be
latch there, and they never let go.
Is there a Pokemon that does that?
Isopods that kind of look like that would like latch onto the head of the fish, and then they kind of look like they were wearing hats.
All right. I wasn't able to figure it out, but I think we're just gonna go on. All right. Can everyone hear me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. So here's today's PowerPoint. The other option is I could project to the TV.
No, it's okay.
All right. Today's PowerPoint is why are restaurants called different names? What's up with that? This all stems from me like never really understanding what the fuck is going on with Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. I don't know that I've ever really seen a Carl's Jr., but I've heard enough to be upset. Being around this area, you know, I think I've seen like a few Hardee's in my life. Definitely not as much as like other fast food chains, you know, like McDonald's and Burger Kings. But I think commercials, you know, I feel like the commercials are always like, oh, Hardee's and Carl's Jr. And it's like, what do you mean? So I had to do some digging. So it turns out that there's a lot of history that goes into Hardee's and Carl's Jr.'s. Hardee's is predominantly on the east and I guess the plains, whereas Carl's Jr. is predominantly out west, with some states featuring both, which I can only imagine is really confusing and difficult for the citizens of those states. In New England, you'll notice there are actually neither. They have not expanded here, so you know, some content of this PowerPoint may not be suitable for everyone. So you know, let's all be nice.
Damn.
And manage the risk exactly. All right, so I had to sit down and educate myself about this issue. So seen on the map, you can maybe infer that they started out as completely separate restaurants. So it turns out Carl's Jr. started out in Anaheim, California in 1941, hence their West presence. So they're named after their founder, Carl Carter, and they named it Junior because it was a smaller junior version of his very first restaurant that he opened up, which was called Carl's Drive-In Barbecue. So this Carl Carter guy, he was known for quite a few interesting things. He would always lead the Pledge of Allegiance at their board meetings for the business, and he loved donating to ban LGBT people from California public.
Oh my
Let's
god.
go.
He had a lot going on. He had a thriving, restaurant, and he had a lot of hate in his heart. But that's okay. He did die from Parkinson's, but he did live a long life. So, there's only so much pleasure to be had there. In the contrary, though, Hardee's, we're waiting another 19 years because they're starting out in 1960 in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Turns out Hardee's is only like 1 year older than my dad. Hardee's is named after their founder as well, Wilbur Hardy, and he's only known for spelling Wilbur like that. And here's the founders themselves. Old, probably not in their prime, but you never know with Carl. All right, so enough background. So you're probably wondering why are they the same? Well, it turns out Carl's Jr. parent company bought Hardee's for $327 million, and in today's inflation, that's $650. They combined 3,152 Hardee's and 676 Carl's Jr.'s, which to me begs the question: why was that the merger? It seems like Hardee's should have been buying Carl's Jr.'s if they had over 3,000, but I guess Carl's Jr.'s had the money. So the initial plan there was to rebrand Hardee's as Carl's Jr.'s, but keep making the money from the Hardee's breakfast because I guess, no one was doing the McGriddle yet. So that was the only thing stopping them. But ultimately, they decided to keep the name Hardee's, but they now have that stupid little star, and you guessed it, that star's name is Happy Star.
I didn't guess that.
But then, so come like 20, 30 years later, and they're like, actually, we want to keep them a bit separate. We don't want them to be the same anymore. And it turns out this was all due to the racy advertising that Carl's Jr. was using, which was apparently infringing upon Hardee's. So I get what you're saying now. Racy advertising? Doesn't this place do burgers? Well, I'm glad you asked because people were complaining that Hardee's ads were sexually suggestive. And it turns out, really, Carl's Jr. was so horned up that it even led to the initial founder, Carl, being like, yo, this does not reflect our Christian image. So here's a key examples. This is a Paris Hilton commercial from back in the day, where she's sudsing up, I think it was a Rolls Royce. I didn't want to embed videos because that's annoying. So I just inserted some images from the YouTube videos, but you can find these online in your spare time. This was one from the Super Bowl 2015, where McKinney starred, and critics were really upset with this commercial, saying that it set feminism back. But what was good was that her grandfather said he really enjoyed the ad. This one does the trope of having a woman walk around with key parts covering her rear and her breasts, so it looks like she's naked, but then it's revealed ultimately, she was just wearing a revealing outfit, so she wasn't actually naked. But you can see Bread Boy was still very interested in either her or the burger. Here's a piece pulled directly from the Wikipedia page that reads, however, in June of that same year, Carl's Jr. pulled his commercials for good after he was fined a then record $50,000 for using profanity against Mormons during a game in Salt Lake City, Utah.
What?
Would anyone like to guess which basketball player this was?
Jimmer Fredette.
Close.
Ron Artest.
No, it's someone that someone you have a positive opinion of. It's Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman.
We have a positive opinion on him?
Makes sense.
Hates Mormons now.
He's Mormon?
But he loves North Korea. All right, so I hear what you're saying. Victor, I don't fucking eat at Carl's Jr. parties. Can we move on? But also to that, I say Burger King does this shit too, because when they tried to go overseas into Australia already had a Burger King. It was some guy that owned it. And they were like, all tough shit, you can't be Burger King over here. So then they had to rename the Hungry Jack. And in doing that, they were kind of just given a list of names. And I think the parent company also owned like Pillsbury, so they were kind of just like, all right, fuck it, Hungry Jack after the pancake mix. So yeah.
Hungry Jack is
All right. Do have one more to go over really quick. I get it. I get it.
Another burger
Oh,
place.
what is this? Is this a burger PowerPoint? No, we've already done that. So Checkers and Rallies, they merged in August 1999. I've never heard of Rallies before like this week, but they're like in the Midwest, and I don't have nearly enough information about this one. I was pretty tired, and I just fucking hate Checkers. I'll be honest. What? It was so disgusting. So I don't have anything good to say. There are some honorable mentions that aren't quite restaurants, except I guess Panera Bread. Apparently Panera Bread has, in St. Louis only, they have a version called St. Louis Bread Company. I found this out too late in development, but it does sound really interesting, so there might be an PowerPoint later.
Yeah. It's exactly like a Panera.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Panera started in St. Louis as St. Louis.
And I think they just have like an upside down logo or some shit. No, it's the same lady. Anyway, Edie's and Dryers, if you're ever in the ice cream aisle, they're called Edie's out here in the east and Dryers out west because they didn't want to compete with Breyers ice.
Breyers.
Confusing.
It's really a.
We lost them.
Exactly.
Big Brian.
Amen, brother.
So, you're probably imagining or thinking, what now, Victor? So, I think we should keep doing this. It's good to have more names for places. So my first proposal is that Dunkin' will now only operate in the New England and Mid-Atlantic region. A new regional variant of Dunkin' Donuts will be called Munchkins in the rest of the United States that employs people with workers as their standard Dunkin' fare. I envision this having promotions with the Wicked franchise that's been wildly successful because of the Munchkin Land in the Wizard of Oz films, and I think it'll take the business to new heights.
Is that Munkins?
Mind your business.
Yo.
All right, Arby's. So my proposal is that all Arby's located in the DMV Delmarva area are renamed Randy's Meat. It's an honor of Randy's point that revitalized the franchise. So we could owe a lot to the old Rand boy there.
But it's designed by my mom with dyslexia.
No, it might be where Randy's meet. Like it's a gay club.
And then lastly, maybe like Whataburger could be, in metro areas called Skippy Burger. But it won't really take off because people are already over that. And the last remaining one will just be like the last Blockbuster in Alaska, so just Ohio. Suffering. All right, so that's the end of my PowerPoint. Does anyone have any questions?
Sorry.
How do I invest in Ramby's Meat? I feel like
Ramby's
it needs to be a dating app,
Ramby's Meat.
a new chain. I want everything. Give me the merch.
Munkins.
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 Munkin go there.
Munkin Monuts.
Okay, the slide that said my proposal, I was expecting you just to have like photos of your proposal.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
My proposal. Oh, fun, a bonus slide.
Yeah, I did realize
Try.
like, as you were saying that it sounded like you were about to talk about your.
Oh, God.
Like, you're probably wondering.
That would be good though. I want everybody who hasn't gone yet to just in the middle put a slide with like a photo of something you did
With the
recently.
pictures proposed.
I kind of did that.
I have to pee really quick, but I can go when I come back.
All right, who wants to go once we do a short intermission?
He offered
I thought-
that.
Oh, Zach.
said he
Zach
would go when he
offered.
came back.
Zach. Who wants to go after Zach?
I can run it.
All right, Riley's up after Zach.
Oh, Randy. I guess this is a question for everybody.
Took away.
I was talking with my Spanish teacher about aquí, ahí, and allá. And it's like something that's right here and like middle distance and far distance. And he's like, how do you say in English, like things that are like really far away?
You.
And I was like, I don't think we have one. But I came up with one. And I want to know if anybody has a better word. But I said,
Why can't you just
Spell it.
listen to that look?
Let's hear it.
I said,
Yeah.
yonder.
I told you to look away.
Yeah, wait a minute. I
And
feel like
was
that's what they said in.
antiquated language, but like people
You
use
can bring it back.
Yeah,
Young
over
people
yonder,
use
that's
This is why I have
pretty
trust
far.
issues.
But like people would
Yeah.
understand what you meant if you said that.
I think
They
like
might not be expecting like a 4-foot, 51-year-old Guatemalan guy to say the word yonder, but
I was gonna say far as hell, which that's no word, but
I was gonna say in bumblefuck, but that really only acquires to like things that are actually in the middle of nowhere, so it doesn't
Yeah.
work for everything.
I think yonder works well.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I like
In
the
the-
word bumblefuck.
Zach in the Congo. That's what we say.
Yeah, that's for something very far away. Isn't it just here, there, and over there? Isn't over there like
Yeah.
big
I
font?
said yonder. So
Yeah,
that's
over
what
Yonder's great.
I'm saying from now on.
I like that in Latin America, instead of saying a key, a lot of times when they speak less formally, they say acá.
Dude, was that a PowerPoint I heard?
I meant to change the background to be like not bright white, but we're gonna send it.
Well, all we see is white, right?
Yeah.
I see a
I
mouse.
like to not have the
mouse
title
wheel.
of the PowerPoint on the first screen so that I can like reveal it dramatically.
That's why
I might steal that.
Even though I did
That's-
already say what the PowerPoint is. This is the PowerPoint of your.
Whoa.
What did I do? I left my own.
Closed it.
There we go. I want to start with this.
I was just trying to go next slide. Sorry, I have to wait for everyone to join. Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let me see if it works. Yes, these are
Oh,
your top
yeah.
10 women.
Oh,
Let's go.
I downloaded the file from GroupMe. This is a 20 meg file, and it's huge. It has every message ever sent to Whelming ever, like since the very beginning. Also,
Not a lot.
William helped me out with this little list that he had from like the middle of the Whelming up until now. I figured we start with a fun question. How many times do you think someone has said top something Whelming moment ever in Whelming? You don't have to actually make a guess. Maybe you can just think in your head. Just thought it'd be funny to try and guesstimate. Colin's like 20.
30.
25?
It's not even a thing.
Seven.
Whoa!
It's a multiple choice question.
Yeah, but I only have enough fingers to demarcate the last digit, and if I did the first digit, it wouldn't differentiate it. So I made the thinking man's choice.
Blood.
Thinking man's choice. Well, the thinking man's choice is correct. It was 27.
Nice.
Woo!
Get fucked.
It's
It
always
doesn't mean there's been
Wow.
27 times. Sometimes it's used like twice in a row after someone says something. But there's roughly 27 top X Whelming women. This slide's also white. I don't know why. Oh, here's all of the times it's ever been said. I just put them into one slide. These are all the ones of people saying, "Hey, this should be a top 10 Whelming moment." There's a
Wait,
few other
top
ones.
20?
Mostly people. Yeah, some of the numbers are wacky. One of them was a top 25. We were like, it's only kind of funny.
I guess, yeah, that was only pretty good.
I think
top
this was
five.
also only like the 4th or 5th time it had ever been said, so there wasn't even like a top 5.
Awesome.
But we were being cautious. I feel like 80% of these are me saying it, so maybe it's me being stupid. Some of them are also like, hey, we need a PowerPoint, or like, been meaning to do the PowerPoint. One of them was a bottom 10 whelming moment. I think someone's birthday was forgotten.
Whose birthday?
I think Ryan was waiting for the top 17 top 10 whelming moments, and unironically, I think there are like 17 of them. So I don't know. There isn't a number 11, but I have a few honorable mentions.
Make it 18.
Yeah, it could be today. I was gonna do the top 10, but like I didn't want to cut any of them from the list, so this is just every other one. All right, this is how they're all started. I gave them a name or just like the context and the day it happened. So this is December 29th of 2018 at 9:30 at night. Dave, do you want to read it? How should we do this? Should I just like, read it for everybody? Read along?
No, can we have Dave read it since he's here?
Oh my god, dude, I remember this night.
This is gonna be good.
Ate dinner at Famous Dave's, which is now closed, and the hostess was sitting on me the entire time to the point where my mom mentioned it to the waitress to see if she was my age. I just got, oh my god.
I said maybe she thought you were the Famous Dave.
Yeah, I'm not. This isn't a script. I'm not doing this.
Okay. Dave was like, yeah, if she knew my name, then maybe that's why. And Randy was like, you get her phone number? And Dave was like, no, she was a minor. I just said goodnight and left. To which Randy said, you should just ask her age, and she's less than 18. Hit her with this. I said, oh, her home club plays reversed. I'm 21. Riley said, Dave, girls a lot like multiplication. If they're under 13, just do them in your head.
Bo Burnham quote.
Wow.
To which Ben said, headline is this the best 5 mini ever. This was the first time anyone had ever mentioned the idea of a top 10 whelming or top X whelming anything, which is why it's on the list. It is arguably the humor is maybe the most dated of any of the jokes.
Unreal.
Crazy.
That was the first time. This starts a trend of most whelming moments starting with Dave just saying something very random.
What was the year, by the way? 2019?
2018.
2018? Guys, we're so
2018,
Good
yeah.
God.
I didn't even know I was in Whelming then.
Yeah, I don't even know if William was there. All right, the next one is restoring order. This is the day after Election Day 2020. So this is Biden is like kind of cleaning up, but you know that lasted like 2 months. We were also I included this because we were playing Jackbox that weekend, which I thought. Ben asked who Maine 5 voted for. I don't really understand how Maine does their electoral college, but like sure. Ryan says they got all of Maine. We were worried about Georgia. I like this turtle vomit emoji combo. I'm not really sure what that's about. You guys keep talking about Georgia. It's really not. Ben got his answer to his question. He changes the like icon to a taco, and then changes the group's name to Civic Doodle Hate Group. And he says, I'm restoring order. I said this was a top 10 whelming moment. Ben was like, I hope we get to see it. And Ben's not here to see it, which is a shame. But it's real. The next one is called
ever since.
I think we're on bus.
No, we're on bus.
Yeah, we've been on bus.
And there was something in between, I think.
Yeah, I don't
Dinosaurs? Oh no, that's a different chat.
Whoa, Randy.
Different chat, man.
You have other
You
chats?
can't do that, Randy. That's like saying something funky when they're big.
Yo, Randy, that's for the PowerPoint party tomorrow.
Wait, Zach, can you go back? Did Ben change his name when he changed the group name?
No, he just changed. I think Ben does have a thing in between. He's chasing the bus, but you know. This
Yeah, because he used to be chasing tacos.
But I wasn't sure if he like changed the group icon to tacos and then like immediately revealed the name change on top of it.
I don't know. I did see it say. I saw it say chasing bus in the logs a lot, and I don't know if it just like put it as his name for all of the messages or if it had it changed. The GroupMe JSON thing is like not that great. All right, this is on 4/20/2021. This is Ryan. In the midst of a conversation, Ryan just recalls this memory he has. I don't know if Ryan wants to read it. I can read it. It's kind of long, but it's very funny and deserves to be read out loud.
Read
Oh,
it.
We can't
If
hear
you,
you.
it.
if you don't want to read it right,
He's
I can
got a
do
mic.
it.
Read
You read
it.
it. I can't right now.
Okay.
Bro.
I just had a flashback to the 5th grade when the Dare cops came to our school, and the one dickhead was trying to be relatable and was like, Donkey Kong was always my favorite Mario character. Do you know why? And from the back of the class, and metaphorically the top rope, I quipped, because you look like him. And it got a large laugh, and the cop grinned and had the face of like, okay, you got me. Pretty wild, because I was never the type of person to disrespect like that, but the opportunity was too good, and homie had it coming. Anyways, I'm glad that even Lil Ryan was saying fuck twice. This is
Oh no! I made fun of this earlier.
This is the theme of like us overestimating how many times it's been said when it's not been said. Okay, this was from kind of recently, May 8th. How often do you change your clothes? Woman created this poll and was like, I saw in an article that says King Charles changed up to 5 times a day, which sounds like a lot. Colin's like, I'm in Honduras right now, so I take off my shirt when I get home because it's hot as fuck all the time. Does that count as changing? Ryan says no, but it does count as a sleigh. Riley says so many factors. Am I working from home? Am I going in? Am I exercising? Am I showering in the morning, exercise later? Or doing a late shower, exercising around lunch? Am I going to the titty garden to watch the Sixers, but I haven't showered all day because I was working from home and I was it's at the one. You mean like Hooters or something? And I said, keep on scrolling up. Then the answer is 27. Moving on. There's so many, I'm just going to go as fast as I can. This one I couldn't name because it's just like what it was. This was last January, a little over a year ago. We were talking about the planets. I said Venus doesn't rotate. Riley has honestly too much information about Venus. Then we talk about how a Uranus season consists of a day and a night because it just rotates so slowly. Victor asks, does Uranus have a wet season? And says mine does. And I said, yeah, that's a fact. The Riley to Victor lob will come back. This is like 2 months ago. Colin posts this meme about fish, or whales being fish. The more you know, the more you realize.
About that same thing.
Yeah,
relevant.
This had a hagfish
On
in
this
it.
call.
Crazy.
Holy shit.
Brian says, excuse me, if it's in the water, it's a fish to me, except for like a crabs and turtles. Everybody goes, okay, what's a shrimp? He said, that's a crab. SpongeBob? He's a fish. Scuba diver? That's a turtle. Victor says, what's this? Brian says, that's a crab. And there's this frog, Nautilus, Tua Tagovailoa, to which Ryan responds, frog gay, Tua coral reef, Nautilus, gotta be a fish. William asks about an octopus. Ryan said, that's a fish, come on. Octopus had beaks, so maybe bird? Defecting to Team Crow? And that's the entire Whelming. I like that we were referencing Team Crow so much later in history than when it first originated. A rare Riley claiming a Whelming moment. That's good to see. This was from Dylan recently about a balloon. I don't even remember this happening. And he says, I'm happy to announce I created the first balloon that's also alive. This is like a LinkedIn balloon, right? Yeah, okay. Ray said, update, someone has taught the balloon racial slurs. It's with a heavy heart. I have to announce that we have to pop it. Right, so the use of someone is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Wow, the balloon exchange. Riley missed this, and an hour later was like, whoa, I'm in Whiplash top 20 Whelming woman. Yeah, pretty good. I think this might be the last one of the honorable mentions. This was a month ago. You gotta win.
Honorable mentions? This isn't even the top 10? Oh my god!
I wanted to put this in the top 10, but like it's just the cake. Like I have nothing. There's no conversation. It didn't even happen in Whelming.
That was amazing.
Yeah, this is me claiming. This was also we were also just talking about how bad the government is, and Victor was like, "Hey, check out this amazing cake." This is one of my favorite videos of all time. So. All right, this is the top 10.
Woo!
That was 6, 7, 8. All right, number 10. Number 10, Humble Beginnings is September 2017 at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Randy creates Whelming as a group meet. This was the first message in the JSON. It's just Randy making the group and adding everyone to it. I had to put this in the top 10. Whelming has been around since 2017. Yeah, pretty cool. That's it. All right, number 9 is Critter versus
Yeah.
Creature, May 5th, 2023, little afternoon. William says, I think you can sort all animals into 4 things: fish, monkey, lizard, cat. Notice this is not fish, crab, or turtle. We've added 3 other ones, and we've consolidated things just to fish. I said, well, everything's actually just a creature or a critter. I said, yeah, you got to get matching t-shirts. Her critter, his creature. I said, to be fair, I'm a creature. Elaine's a critter. He said, yeah, Zach, you're a creature. And then I posted the official Whelming critter chart. I don't think any of this has changed.
Pour one out.
Whelming's Shane's name was messed up in the thing. But we're obviously very creature oriented. William said, oh, interesting split. I said, any good society needs an even split. He said, a creature leaves stains, a critter leaves crumbs. I said, a creature will leave a stinker in the toilet. The critter will look through the medicine cabinet just to see what's up. And you said, you either die a critter or you live long enough to become a creature. And I said, you either die a critter or forget to flush the toilet one time and become the creature. And Riley came in with the top 10 moment. I think we talked about the critter creature list a lot, and it deserved its place in the top 10.
This literally came up earlier this week, I feel like.
Yeah,
we were playing Valorant
and
and we were talking
and
about
I knew about it.
What about the creature?
Yeah, the creature had a lot of legs for like an entire Margate weekend. Number 8 is the Fresca Godfather Part 2 map. This is November 13th. This is prime COVID action. Ben posted this picture of like hot chocolate and apple cider in
what's wrong with Maryland?
I don't know.
As like
There's nothing wrong with this. And I guess this is the confusion because Ryan said, Ben, did you make that? You should tweet that. I said, no, I saw it on Twitter, Google Trends. He said, what's the title of the graph? I said, it doesn't have a title. It just says, and then he proceeds to say a title. Google Trends data broken down by state for hot chocolate versus hot cider. You're like, bro, that is the title. I thought it was funny because without the title, it just seemed like 2 unrelated things randomly organized onto states like this.
Nice.
And this, yeah, do you prefer Fresca or the Godfather Part 2 map? Overwhelmingly, majority people prefer Fresca, which is crazy.
Terrible.
So this is groundbreaking. That's why I died laughing when you posted it. It's like, oh, I'm getting it now. I get it. And yes, that is a top 10 Whelming moment coming in at number 7. Or sorry, 8. And this is number 7. This is a meta moment. This is from 2014, a little over a year ago. William says, so many animals min-maxed AC. Pangolins, rhinos, etc. They got nerfed in the gunpowder update, and now high dex is OP. I feel like we're talking about animals a lot. I said, meanwhile, cockroaches are meta again after the weapons of mass destruction patch. I said, I min-maxed your mom. I said, I'm tempted to call that a Whelming moment. That was amazing. And William's like, oh, well, I've been keeping track of the Whelming moments recently, and posted this chart. And I said, wow, William, this is a top 10 Whelming moment. And I said, I just want to go back one day and find them. And here we are. I found them.
I like that it says Riley bought the Doritos burger.
Wait, no spoilers.
Oh, don't worry. You'll see some of these coming up soon. Oh, I'm sensing a couple making. Yeah, here we are. Good senses. This was, what, 2 years ago? All right, the aforementioned Burger King cheeseburger. This is February 28th, 2023, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. At the same time, these messages are sent like within 2 seconds of each other. Randy's like, is Burger King offering a Doritos burger in the US? I see ads for it over here. Randy is in Spain right now. And then Ben sends this long message, which I guess I should read. I bought this stress ball online that's filled with goo, and I like to play with it and knead it during work. And I just know that one time I'm going to squeeze it too hard, and all the goo will explode all over me and my laptop. And everyone on Zoom call is going to start laughing at me, calling me Goo Boy. I'm going to have to quit and find a new job. Due to social embarrassment, when I post on LinkedIn that I'm open to work, all the comments will be from my former colleagues saying, Goo Boy, back on his feet. And the prospective employees will think that I just don't take my LinkedIn seriously enough and I'll never get another job. So these were sent at the same time. And Ben goes, shit, I'm sorry. Randy's like, no, it's okay, let's do it. This is a fantastic, I've never seen this before.
Stewie's in the freezer.
Stewie's frozen in the freezer. And said, Goo Boy. Friday's like, oh, I bought this Doritos burger at Burger King that's filled with cheese. And I can't read the whole thing again. But it's basically Cheese Boy instead of Goo Boy. It's incredible. It's an easy top 10 Whelming moment. The Goo Boy Cheese Boy. Randy's meme honestly makes it funnier than any. All right. There's a tie for 5th place, and I'll explain why when we get to the other one. But for now, we'll just move on. This is June 20th, 11:30. This is a not safe for work whelming moment. We were talking about a lot of things, honestly, and Riley was like, "Oh, speaking of which, some subreddits, including Interesting as Fuck, which I follow, have taken the method of becoming NSFW, so that Reddit can't advertise on them. Anyways, now I pull up Reddit at work to hit with some extreme hardcore anal porn, which is shocking." Victor says, "Interesting as fuck." There was a lot of top 10 whelming moment discussions around this, and it's tied for 5th because on the same day, later in the day, we have a second top 10 whelming moment. This is like an hour later. We're talking about the Titanic submersible exploding. It says another news. I can't stop reading about this fucking Titanic submersible thing. Insane way to die. General consensus is they're more dead than anyone has ever been. Kelsey goes, "Wow, sounds like a really bad idea. I think more rich people should do this." And Victor said that was so the June 20th, the combination of those two, that is your 5th place whelming moment. I went through and tried to like track the conversation about what we were talking about this day and color code it. I think this looked kind of fun. You'll do another PowerPoint of some other greatest 24 hours in whelming history, but June 20th is definitely one of them. These are the 2 whelming moments in gold. Anyways. All right, number 4, Kink Shane. This is May 13th, 2024, 2:41 in the afternoon. We're talking about this guy. Isn't Atriac the guy that commissioned deepfake porn of his friends and colleagues?
Oh, no, I remember
subscribed
that.
to a service that allows you to create deepfake porn. Ryan's like, "Yeah, that's super weird. He's a horny creep." He's like, "You guys don't even want to know what kind of deepfake porn I've got of Whelming. Everyone in Whelming is a different maiden in the village, and I'm the town vet, except everyone's fully clothed, and I'm able to just take care of your horses and get to bed." And I said the rest could be in Kink Shane. This is the top 20 moment. This is really funny. Zoom. Number 3, Woke. This is on January 10th of this year. Dave posts an image of this man who, most of us know. Riley said, Randy said, this is Karl Marx. We know who he is. Colin said, Riley not knowing Karl Marx actually is a bingo card for 2020. We were talking about the California wildfires. Ryan said, if we allowed corporations to set fire to the planet, then turn around and pass that cost on to working people by requiring they pay out fire insurance, we are so beyond cooked. Sorry for this. Recently, when I am hit with class consciousness, it'll happen again. Probably. I was like, so you're saying it's because of Toke? Which I think is an incredible pun.
So good.
This is the top 2 moment. We need a PowerPoint. We're here. That is your number 3 whelming moment. Number 2, this is Taco Bell. This is also from COVID. I think this was on the same day as another one, maybe, which is why I was like, oh, some 24-hour periods are pretty good. Abe says, big Taco Bell guy, cheap and efficient. Ryan's like, what do you mean by efficient? Please explain. You said in and out in under an hour. To which Victor responded, if I was going inside, we do not have a picture that can show that shit. That is a source up to a moment. All right, this is the number 1. Does anyone have any? I wonder if I animated it. I don't know. Does anyone have any guesses on the number 1? Is anyone looking for something? They're like, oh, did this make the cut? Nobody's thinking that hard about this. All right, moving on. Okay, I did spoil it. Number 1 is Williams Coke.
Let's go.
This is from January 23rd, 2023. This was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. William's like, oh, here's how today's going. Hey, I just finished filling out the CDA. Does you or your manager usually fill out the quality agreement? His coworker goes, a CDA? I'm not sure. I assume it's this guy. You're like, yeah, I'm doing the CDAs now, but there was a quality agreement, a QAA. Guy's like, I'm not even sure what you mean by a CDA. Ryan's like, I don't know what a CDA is. It didn't matter since I was asking him about the QAA. What follows is Whelming just going like bar for bar against William's coworker for like the next half an hour. I send this clown to clown meme. They don't know what they're talking about. Randy verifies this post. Anthony Fauci. Was he canceled or is he cool? I assume he's still cool. Ben sends this stream. All these little furry guys. We're shocked. Ryan sends this. Me in a film. Pretty good. Randy sends this meme. All right, none of these have been about William's coworker, but we're getting there, I promise. we're just unloading the clip. This week, we're getting so much closer to talking about William's coworker. All right, so then William, when his coworker is there, we're smoking on that back. He's getting fired. Never ask your coworker about CDA. Whelming shitting on William's coworker life. We're all yapping. I think the bosses were going crazy. William's coworker trying to catch up on basic work-related tasks. This is William. He has no help at work. So there's the CDA. This one is so funny. I love this. William, next time William's coworker, the Tony Slash. I think it's sort of what the fuck is a CDA?
That's your quantity.
Amazing. This is awesome. William's coworker going about saying unaware, he actually runs through a heavy-duty watch like an encryption of 11 strangers in William. The next, okay, so that was it. We calmed down. We got our memes out. The next day, Ben sends this meme, which is like, what connects them? You know, real heady. This actually says Italians, which is crazy. I said it's William's coworker.
So good.
And Ryan says, I like this more. I love William's coworker. And we said, yeah, it's a top 10 Whelming moment of the past year. And I agree. All of us just spitting out memes for a while was very fun.
Yeah.
That was your number one. Here's a chart of all of them in time. It's crazy how they group up. Like one will happen, and then we're like, oh, we need to generate more in the next 2 days. And then they're very clustered together. But yeah,
that is interesting.
I feel like we're growing back.
Yeah,
they've been increasing in popularity recently.
It kind of makes sense, right? It's kind of like when there's a trade in fantasy, like a bunch of other trades. It just gets people active and going.
Yeah, I would have loved to have plotted like where PowerPoint parties were, but I don't think I could have found that data somehow. I don't know when they were. But yeah, I think that's the last slide. That is the last slide. That is.
Bring back William's coworker.
Update on the coworker. They're still with the company, but more people went and fired.
Nice. I feel like I need an update on Ben's.
I've turned on the bathroom.
You ever broke it?
Do we all just message Ben now? How's the goo ball, goo boy?
Yeah, we all just call him Goo Boy. Hey, what's up, Goo Boy?
Randy, if you're admin, can you change Ben's name?
Yes.
Why don't you ask the
chasing the bus boy?
I think that's the other admin's job, actually. If you want to get in contact with them. Check it out.
Should we bug him? Should we text Mark? Hey, can you change? Oh, and when you were doing your presentation, you were like, "Oh, Hagfish has great ratio. It always gets in the parties." It reminded me of that tweet where it's like a girl who's fucking Caillou. Can Caillou come? It's like a girl who's fucking Hagfish. It's like, can Hagfish come? And they're like, yeah, he has a great ratio. I was gonna make it, and then I was like, no, that's way too much.
All right, I can go next if we want.
Hell yeah.
I'll wait for Randy to confirm. Do we know where he went?
I know Riley had the pee.
Oh, is he gonna split the harp? Split the G?
I was gonna say this. I think I'm gonna start by trying to. Oh, there's nothing to split.
Oh wait,
devastating.
I've got one too. Hold on.
It's okay. We'll accept gymnastics.
Right. I will also get a beer because I will need one while I give my presentation.
Dude, yeah, I was.
Zach, can you share the PowerPoint to shortrandy5@gmail.com? Actually, wait, that Gmail is full. Can you share it to, it's now my 8th email at gmail.com?
Can you share it to noblet.111@gmail.com?
Here, I will send a link in GroupMe in Whelming of you can only access with the link. I don't feel like emailing it.
Can you Teams chat it to me?
All right, I'm gonna set a finger point. I'm gonna try and split the finger, index finger.
I'm watching. Go.
Riley's good for a drinking game.
Oh,
wow.
Too much. Past it, dude.
It's a little, yeah. It's
I got a little overzealous.
All right, am I up?
I believe so.
I gotta follow up the Whelming Moments one. Brutal. All right.
Yeah, if anyone feels like they were misrepresented in a Whelming moment, I'm sorry. I had to cut a lot of shit so it would fit in the PowerPoint and still make sense. If you were part of a moment and you
All
I'm sorry.
Damn, wait. I got to go in presenter mode. Is that right?
Zach, my cheeks hurt from smiling and
And
laughing.
then I can have Discord up?
Yeah, you can have Discord up.
I feel like it was a pretty even spread of people's participation.
With the presenter notes.
Are you...
Wait, okay. Can you guys see the PowerPoint, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is introduction to Unit 3.6 of AP Microeconomics, firm's short-run decision to produce and long-run decision to enter or exit the market. Just kidding. Because how do I get to the next slide? Oh, okay. This is actually Dave's Dynasty 4 back in Maction. So over the last year and a half, I've been playing in copious amounts of college football 25. And we're currently on my 4th career in Dynasty mode with the
Dave,
university.
you still see the micro thing. Sorry.
What? How do I get to the next slide?
Make sure you're clicked on the presenter mode thing.
Yeah.
What do you mean clicked on it?
In the window.
If you have two windows.
It's the active window.
Okay. Hold on.
This is what I did. Nice top there.
No.
No. You mean we see what you see, I imagine.
Well, I'm assuming I can probably just.
There you go.
There we go. We see it now. We see it now.
We're good. Can you see it now?
Oh.
Now you're duoed.
It's like a phone now.
Damn, I really fucked this up.
I do like that if I die, the only backup to save Whelming and like change it is for you guys to get in contact with Mark Pacheco.
which is like your responsibility to change.
I think it's a good measure.
We're splitting the spice.
Whoa, cattail.
Let's go. Yeah, Randy's like hiding the other key to the nuclear launch codes in like the most remote location possible. Like you got to speak a different language. You gotta... Good job, Zach.
All right, let's try this again.
I've had 3 tries at this over the last couple of days.
Yeah, I really fucked this up. All right.
You got it.
So presenter view, and then I click on it.
And then if you click or hit the right arrow, it should go next.
Okay, so boom. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Right arrow is crazy.
All right. So this is Dave's Dynasty back in Maction. Can you still see it?
Yep.
Making sure we're good. Okay. All right. So like I was saying, been playing copious amounts of college football 25, and I've been documenting every single interaction that I make within the game. Zach has seen this over the course of all 4 of these Dynasty modes, and there will be references to previous ones. So if you're interested, I have slides for each one of these Dynasty modes. This is the conference that we're playing in. This is the MAC, so that's the Mid-America Conference. We're the Buffalo Bulls. That's us in the top corner there. We're blue. All right. All these schools are irrelevant in the grand scheme of college football, but I was getting frustrated with the game and wanted to play in an easy conference because I'm bad. And I only play against computers, so that makes it worse. This is the coach that... So what I've done is I built this in... Yes.
David.
It's not working?
We're still on the first screen.
What the fuck?
Honestly, I don't know if I could get it to do this if I tried. Like, I don't know how you're...
Yeah, I don't know how it's stuck.
Here we go. Okay.
Yeah, you said top right.
I'm just gonna go without seeing your faces, which is sad for me, but it's fine. What if I window it? Can you still see it?
We see it.
Yeah.
But try changing the slide.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That works.
So this is Coach Jordan Figueroa. He's a former tight end from Dave's Dynasty 3, Big East Brawl. He was a 4-year starter at Rutgers. So I've built this whole world out with all of my former players. He was under Max Loudermilk, my former kicker from Dave's Dynasty 1 at the UNLV Rebels. He won the Mackey Award for the nation's best tight end, was a 2-time college football playoff participant, and those are his career stats. He had numerous awards, and unfortunately ended up, having to enter coaching after getting ripped apart by injuries in his rookie year, or second year of the NFL, sadly. So, coaching philosophy: high risk, high speed, high scores. That's what we like in football. Lots of option, deep shots, and gadget plays. What we don't like is defense. I don't care. So. These are the 9 plays that I run frequently out of my setup. My offense is very fast-paced, and I get immensely frustrated with quarterbacks who can't keep up with it. It is not to the point where I'm controlling the quarterback. That's beside the point. But these plays are excellent. I really like this jet touch pass one in the middle because it involves the running back passing it. It's out of the Wildcat, so that's pretty cool. And then this mesh play is why all my tight ends are good, because when they go in motion, then no one covers them, and you can just throw a touchdown every time. So yes, I have figured out how to cheat the game, and no, I have not yet won a national championship with this team. Pretty sad. All right. So this was the first year. I went 6-7. I do play on the hardest slider difficulty. I want that to be known. I also schedule difficult games. You can see I have 2 ranked opponents there. But I documented the top 25. Oregon won the national championship. That becomes a trend. You can see all the conference champions there too. These are all the team stats. These are all real players because the game makes you start with real players now. I don't really care about them, so I just tried to get to the better ones. I did little write-ups. The senior quarterback was good, but couldn't throw the ball. He was a game manager, so you can't win championships with game managers. But yeah, so we had a couple all-conference guys. These are the award winners. Shadur Sanders won the Heisman. Or no, he didn't. Who won the Heisman? It was someone else. Will Howard, Ohio State quarterback. Disappointing. But you can see all the award winners there. You might recognize some names. So these are the season leaders, which I've also documented, the top 5 in each position. They're also real players. And here's my recruiting. So I nailed 4 2-star or 2 4-star recruits the first year. Very good numbers. And this guy, Kona Alufohai, will come to be very important a little later. So I documented all this. Year 2, only slightly better, 7-6. But Miami, Ohio, and Toledo and Central Michigan and NIU and Kent State, I was not very good in the MAC. Georgia won the national championship. Continuing to keep track of this. I couldn't find a quarterback. More guys on the list there. Lamar Sperling was a really good running back that I had, but he's real, so I don't really care about him. I only like building up the storylines within my players, which brings me to the second player that we're going to focus on here, Evan Skyfris, the 4-star QB out of Temecula, California. I don't know much about Temecula, California. I probably should have integrated more world building into this PowerPoint, but it's my world, so you guys really don't care. Yeah, it is. Yeah, you guys have to suffer it. You can see, I'm not very good at recruiting the high-level recruits. They don't want to come to Buffalo because it's cold and not a popular school.
Wait, what is the ranking for recruits? I thought it was the opposite way.
This is, 5 stars is the best recruits, okay. And then 0 stars or 1 star is the worst recruits. So I don't waste my time with 1-star recruits. They're like walk-ons basically. Year 3, this is where we had our breakout year. You can see we went 13-1. If it wasn't for Central Michigan, the Chippewas, we probably would have had a shot in the college football playoffs. We just cracked the top 25, finishing at 23, and Clemson won the national championship. You can see already Clemson's kind of one of the early leaders of this, and I say early because we go to 2032. Yeah, it's rough. Evan Skyfris broke records. That's what the little asterisk mean. So great quarterback. And remember I mentioned that Kona Alufohai guy? He was recruited as a QB, but just like Coach Figueroa, the all-star tight end, he starts putting up numbers here.
Does he have negative 176 rushing yards?
Oh yeah, so in college football you get penalized for taking sacks, so it counts against the quarterback's rushing totals. Also, you'll notice that my quarterbacks have an absurdly high number of turnovers. That's because they suck running my system. It's not my fault. Okay. I just had to make that clear. Yeah, but he threw 16 picks and also fumbled 7 times because he always tries to pitch when I'm running the option. It's not great.
175 QBR.
Yeah.
That's awesome. 4,000 yards in college.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The numbers get bigger than that. So I did this. I really have a thing for kickers. My kicker is a very important part of my team, so I always make sure to give them their laurels. And Nick Reed knocked in 4 field goals to send us to the MAC championship. So shout out to the little guy there. Kickers are a big part of what makes this team work. Kona Alufohai won the Mackey, just like his coach. And he was All-American and All-MAC. So that's pretty good. Here's the season leaders. You can see this guy, Sean Griffin. I become wide receiver U somehow and start putting out wide receivers. But yeah, so 2027 regression, terrible regression actually. Georgia Tech wins the Natty, so this year was just like kind of messed up anyway. Boise State wins their third Mountain West Conference. Oregon's like dominant. South Alabama's winning out of the Sun Belt. Somehow I ended up 23rd, which is I went 13-1 here and was 23rd, and I went 8-5 here and was 23rd. So someone needs to fix the coding in the game. I'm not really sure how that works. Skyfer's regressed again. You can see 27 interceptions, 10 fumbles. The system kind of caught up to him. Basically, like, I'm going to go back real quick to the initial
That's like
part.
40 turnovers.
Oh, yeah. But it's because of...
For a game?
In the season. But it's because of this play, RZ stick nod right here. So the red route is supposed to be the primary one. But the linebackers do some crazy shit in this game, and they'll, like, jump and, like catch the ball behind their backs and stuff. And so I always try to hit him out of that break, and then he'll intercept it. But it's not my fault the quarterback has a sorry-ass arm. So, all right. Yeah, where are we?
Jesus.
Yeah, this keeps going. So we'll pick up here. I don't know. Year 6. I'm number 9 in the nation now. Wait, there was one really good one. Was it this year? Oh, yeah. We lost in the Natty in that year. I don't know. I'm getting lost here. I shouldn't have gone back. There was one year where we made the college football playoff one year because 7 ranked teams lost in the championship week, and we got into the college football playoff that way. But you can see Evan Skyfers had a little nice career there. But we lost in the Natty, and then I had to rebuild a little bit. So 2030, we were only 13-2. I had like some stopgap quarterback, and he was garbage. But this guy was pretty good. And then, this guy, James Hartman, best receiver in the nation twice. But then he left school early for the draft. So this is the most recent year. So the MAC, we won our 4th MAC championship. Taj Yazi is the future of the program. So he's a sophomore quarterback. I forget where we got him from, but this guy was supposed to be a 5-star recruit, Clayton Saubert, and he's not even the starter. So I don't know what happened there, but we're just really struggling. And you can see that following the loss to Miami in the college football playoff, James Hartman announced that he would enter the NFL draft, and now the Bulls' offensive core is depleted, headed into a key 2032 offseason. So maybe I'll just be another almost was, and that's where we leave off here.
Whoa.
So,
Whoa.
Yeah, it's still a work in progress, but I figured I'd share something if I was going to come to the party. Thanks for bearing with me.
It's incredible.
So do you write all the summaries?
What?
You write all of the summaries afterwards? Like...
Yeah. So I have this notebook here, and then I record everything in the notebook, and then I convert it into the slides. And this is how I spend my free time on the weekends when I need to decompress and not talk to humans.
That's
fair enough.
I love it.
Zach has known about this for a long time. He's been a frequent follower.
I've been following along.
I'm gonna do mine.
Actually, I don't know because the GOAT one.
Yeah, I wanted to mention Jordan Okuda, but you were the only one who would get it, Zach.
Yeah.
Typical
Dave quarterback.
In NCAA, if you go long enough, can a former player become a coach?
Oh, so funny you ask that. So I actually have Kona Alufahai, who is now my offensive coordinator, but that's because I renamed the coach. So you have to kind of like mess with the world itself. Yeah. I wish I had put in more world building stuff, but I know what the world is in my head.
Exactly. The real one, no?
Yeah.
Same world building.
Who's left to go? Who's got a PowerPoint?
That's me.
Brian has a PowerPoint. Ginny and Riley. I heard someone volunteer afterwards. I forgot.
I can go after Riley too.
But wait, there's more. Dave, you need to there you go. Bop, bop. I'm just gonna do this.
Crazy how that really frightens you all three.
Oh. And these are some fancy design.
I don't want that. Hold on.
Geometric stuff.
No spoilers. All right. Does this all look good?
Yeah, I can see it. I just don't understand how you can also see us when you do this, because that's what I couldn't figure out.
Multiple monitors.
Oh, and I don't. Yeah. Is that why I was struggling?
Probably.
Yeah.
Let me pull up this. All right. Is my audio good? Do I need to speak louder, quieter?
No,
you sound great.
Okay.
battery.
I wouldn't say that much.
Wow, a lot of Google Slides.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I'm a Google
All
Slides
right.
monkey.
So I hate to be the one to break it to you guys, but Finland does not exist.
Just steps.
This took me a long time to accept myself. So take your time. Please hold all questions to the end. I'm going to try and answer any questions you have preemptively. And then if you have more at the end, I'm hopefully we can figure it out. So without further ado, let's get into it. What do we know about Finland? It is located betwixt Sweden and Russia. It is home to some beautiful cities, some of the most beautiful in Europe. And it has a famously low crime rates and some of the happiest citizens of the world. Sound pretty nice. Not a bad gig. However, oh wait, no, I don't have my next slides thing, so. They've got the Northern Lights, one of the darkest places in the world. Not a problem. Seasonal depression like me, you got glowing green lights in the sky. Where can you go wrong? They've got saunas in their Burger Kings where guests can drape themselves in towels and robes and order food and beverages direct to the sauna. All right? And if you get a PhD, you get a top hat and a sword. Right? So we're going. This is what we all believe is a real place. just establishing that. All right. But if we go back, we're gonna have to do a little digging about the history of Finland. And it all starts in the Cold War. And there's two big players in this saga. We got the Soviet Union and we have Japan. So when the Soviets and Japanese make their move, it starts during the Cold War with a period of quiet cooperation. This is directly from Wikipedia, in which important part during this period where they're colluded together and they agree to some fishing rights. They very altruistically give up a lot of their fishing rights to Japan. Seems normal enough. Okay, fine. Then, during World War II, they don't really fight very much, despite being on opposing sides. Okay. Fine. They're pretty far, who knows? Then, 1941, Japan signs a peace treaty with Russia, just months before the German allies go to war with them. A little suspicious. I don't know. What are they trying to avoid? Why don't they want to fight? What kept these two countries so close? Why were relations between Japan and Russia always so good throughout the Cold War, throughout World War II, despite major geopolitical differences, and that you'd think there would be some tension, And the answer is simple. They shared a common asset that worked in both of their favors. And that asset was Finland. Finland is actually a Japanese fishing colony. It's not, there's not even land. It is the Finnish Sea. You are being lied to, the wool pulled over your eyes, and I'm here to expose the truth. Okay? So, with this agreement, Japan is able to fish in the region of ocean between Sweden and Russia, the Finnish Sea, without worry for environmental repercussions. While in return, Russia gets a percentage of all the fish to distribute amongst their populace. And this all comes together in a honestly brilliant three-stage plan for world domination fishing. First, they fished the Finnish Sea, as we got over. Actually, a Japanese colony. Major benefit of this, it's land. No one's regulating how much fishing is done on a body of land. There's no environmental regulations. There's no rules. Take as much as you want. Use all the nets. Use any inhumane practices. Stage 2, build the Trans-Siberian Railroad. Conveniently built in the years leading up to their fishing rights agreement that goes right from the Finnish Sea all the way over to Japan. But you gotta be a little subtle. Can't make it too easy. So, bring in Nokia, the largest Finnish company and guess what? Their largest importer? Japan. You ever seen a Japanese person with a Nokia phone? Nope. A little suspicious. What are they doing? How is Nokia getting so much traffic into Japan? I don't know. You're still not convinced. I get it. All right. I don't blame you. I wasn't either yet. But let's answer some obvious questions then. What about Finnish people? They exist, right? You might even met some, talked to some. Are they in on it? Of course not. Of course not. The people in Finland genuinely believe they're part of Finland. In reality, Eastern Sweden, Western Russia, Northern Estonia. The culture still exists, but the actual landmass does not. What about Finland's other exports? It's not just Nokia. What about the other things? Oil. Finland's got a ton of oil. What's going on? Well, the biggest three are oil, tech, and software. And the oil is gathered in offshore platforms where the rest of us believe that the landmass of Finland is. Again, avoiding rigging regulations. And then the tech companies, with the Nokia, and software companies easily redirect their IP address through the Finnish Sea. What about Helsinki? Huge city, world stage, you can't hide that. I keep thinking that. Helsinki is just part of Eastern Sweden. It's not let's be honest, you're flying over there, you don't see borders when you're flying over. You're not going to notice anything. It's just a part of land. You can't tell the difference. What about everywhere else in Finland? That's a lot to make up. I don't know. Let's be honest, 99% of Finland is forest. Finland famously says they have 10 trees for every person in the world. They don't need to account for jack shit. It's like a couple cities and then trees. It's the perfect crime. No one's checking. Why do other countries go along with it? This was the one I was really confused by, but it makes sense. Think about it. It starts with a sign of goodwill between Western countries and the Soviet Union, like a potential bargaining chip in the future, something you can keep in your pocket. But since then, Finland has evolved to something much more. It's become an ideal, like a placeholder for countries to aspire to. No real country could consistently place first in education, healthcare, gender equality, literacy rates, national stability. It's the least corrupt government in the world. Freedom of the press, this isn't real. Open your eyes. It is a concept for countries and people to aspire to. It is a utopia. This is where the problems about Finland's existence is disputed. No other country in the world could be that good. What about the Finnish language? Finnish famously has the longest word of any language, which is, hold on, let me try and bust this one out. Lentakone swikatur binimoteria pumakana kalipsire opalas, which means allegedly an airplane jet turbine engine auxiliary mechanic non-commissioned officer student. Because that, okay, fine. We're good with that. Yeah, sure. But also there's a lot of similarities between the Japanese and the Finnish, specifically within their language. And you'd be surprised to see how similar they are, which is weird considering the vast distance between them. So... all right, maybe you're feeling a little tacked by this. You're like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to hear this. These people are real and I know it and you're insulting me. I promise you this is not meant to insult Finnish people or culture. They exist. They are real. They just aren't on the land of Finland that you so believe. These people are from these different regions. They have this shared identity and I think that's great and that's wonderful. But they're being fed a lie. And we need to raise attention to it. if there's this enormous conspiracy to keep secret, how has no one else realized it? Guys, look around you. People have realized it. But like, think about how difficult it is for you to understand right now. Even with everything I'm showing you, I'm sure some of you still skeptical. I get it. But even if we have undeniable proof of something like this put in front of our face, we would still struggle, and we would, our friends, our family, anyone you try and tell, it's hard to accept that this is reality. What about GPS? What about satellite? This is a good one. This one was my major concern going into it, but if we think about it, so here's an image of what it actually looks like, because the rest of it is all manipulated and forged. In the parts of Estonia, Sweden, and Russia that are allocated as Finnish zones, their GPS locations are changed to match that of Finland. Satellite images are reforged. You can name anything you want. That's how we can be fed that the Gulf of Mexico is actually the Gulf of America, and other people see different things. It's all, they feed you whatever they want, and we just believe it. So, in conclusion, Finland is not real. I hope this has encouraged you to question, to do your own research, if you will. Think critically, and thank you for listening. And I hope you learned something.
Wow.
Yay.
This is like when they told us Pluto wasn't a planet.
Yeah.
I do have a question or two.
Okay.
One's a statement, one's a question.
Pop
so
up.
I have been to, or at least the supposed part of
I was
Finland,
led to
Helsinki.
believe.
Allegedly.
I was visiting a foreign exchange student from high school, but after Italy in college. So one thing that I thought was interesting to add to the top hat is actually if you graduate just high school, you're given a sailor cap. And on graduates' day, like the day most people in Finland graduate, everyone wears their sailor cap around that has graduated, which is really weird. Like to see a bunch of people basically wearing like this Navy sailor cap, and like my second day at Finland, and like what is going on?
That's
I'm
so
saying
normal.
Finland, but
Right,
to Riley's
right,
assertion
right.
somewhere else. Yeah.
So what part of, were you in like Western Russia or Eastern Sweden?
Where would you put Helsinki, the supposed Helsinki?
That might be northern Estonia, actually. I don't know. That's like the southern.
Yeah, because that's my second question. Because I then took the ferry from Helsinki to northern Estonia, and it only took 2 hours.
Right.
So how did that work?
What do you mean? It's how else would you get across a body of water?
Braden's like, how was I fooled?
No, but like how did it take 2 hours to?
They're fishing.
Like if like depending on where Helsinki is.
Do you
like,
know
Helsinki's in
do you know
Sweden,
the
it would take
speed
forever.
of the boat? Did you know the like what
I played City Skylines the whole time, so no.
Okay, so I don't get what you're asking. You went across the body of water and got to the next landmass, correct?
Yeah, it just seems suspicious the amount of hours it was, which yeah.
I'd also point out the Swedes give out sailor hats for high school graduation too. So
Stolen valor.
Kinda,
Awesome.
yeah.
Very nice.
But so yeah, please, if you go see your family for Easter, spread the gospel. We gotta do something. But this we can't just allow this to happen.
Is this anti-Japanese or anti-Russian?
It's not anti either. It's more of I don't like being lied to. I've been watching Silo recently. I don't know if anyone seen that show. It's on Apple TV. But yeah, we shouldn't, even if there's no harm to us, we should not allow them. I mean, think of the unsafe fishing practices they're exploiting right now without any regulation. Not on my watch.
I think also the Norwegians, supposedly, the Norwegians in quotes, brought salmon to Japan. It was one of those Scandinavian-esque countries. But, like, salmon is not a traditional form of Japanese sushi. So,
Victor, what are you doing? Oh, is it salmon?
The salmon. It's a bear holding a salmon.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Very nice. Thank you, Riley.
Yeah, thank you guys. William, what
Great
you got
job,
for us?
Riley.
Yeah, I can share. Hang on.
Oh, well, we don't want to trouble you.
Oh, that was too loud.
Yeah, if it's not too much, William.
He's dragging his feet.
I guess.
He's like,
Hang
yeah. I hope William's PowerPoint is just about the movie we were supposed to watch.
That would have been really good.
He's like, yeah, so I finally watched Liar Liar. Here's what I thought.
All right. So can you guys see my screen okay?
Yeah.
It's just white.
Yep, just white.
So originally for my PowerPoint, I was going to do an alternate history if Mike Dukakis won the 1988 presidential election. And then I couldn't get past a paywall for somebody's, I think it looked like a graduate thesis on Dukakis's foreign policy stance. And then I realized I was getting really tired and didn't feel like reading it anyways. So I abandoned that idea and had to settle on something else, which is a retrospective. What happened to Mr. Duck?
Wait, what?
Mr. Donald Duck?
No, Mr. Duck. I will get into this.
Oh, sorry.
In DuckTales. So the parentage of the principal players of the seminal media franchise, DuckTales, has been left up for debate and research since Huey, Dewey, and Louie Duck's first introduction in the 1937 classic, Donald's Nephews. Many authors have tried to copy this mystery from George R. R. Martin's Jon Snow to Super Mario Sunshine's Bowser Jr., but none have managed to capture this same lightning in a bottle. In this presentation, I will try to really dive into who is the father of Huey, Dewey, and Louie Duck, and really what's just going on there. Property of the Walt Disney Company. So, background. The Duck McDuck family tree. I wanted to dive into this initially because, as we all know in DuckTales, it involves Donald Duck, his nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, as well as Scrooge McDuck. You may note that Scrooge McDuck does not share the same last name as Donald. So, I wanted to figure out what was going on there. We begin with Carl Barks' first Duck family tree, created for, and I quote, personal use in the 1950s. Carl Barks was the original comic book author of the DuckTales, so that is still personal use confused me. This portrays the combined Duck McDuck family clan from the grandsire Grandma Duck and Old Scotty McDuck, resulting in the brother and sister duo, eventually Donald Duck and Thelma Duck. Thelma as the mother of Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Next, we have Elvira's Duck family tree, 1960. In this one, Donald's sister doesn't even appear, and Huey, Dewey, and Louie are kind of just there. It's confusing. Then we go to Finland. Riley, sorry. Where we have the Mac'akin Klani, the Finnish duck family tree, appearing in a 1981 calendar, which names Donald's sister instead of Thelma as the original author Carl Barks portrayed her, but as Dumb Ella and husband. Then an unnamed and unknown husband. Mark Warden's duck family tree is based on Charles Barks' checklist, and also does not name their father, and names the mother as Thelma Duck, reverting to Carl Barks' theory rather than the Finnish theory of Dumella. Carl Barks later was still in contact with various fan clubs and magazines of DuckTales, and was requested to provide another duck family tree. Sadly, at that time, his memory was defunct. He could no longer remember whether Gustave or Gustale, whether was married to the gander of Uncle Scrooge's sister, and in the senile fog of his recollection, he voted for Gustave, as it sounded more Northern European. The natural latitudes of the ducks and geese. I beg you, dear listeners, to remember that fact, the natural latitudes of ducks and geese, Northern Europeans. Continuing. There's more fucking family trees. Next, we have un drôle de famille. I don't speak French. The French duck family tree, which just had a lot of extremely unhelpful question marks. Also naming the sister of Donald as Domella. Moving on, Don Rosa. This one is noted with significant publisher interference adding to this duck family tree. This one names Della as the sister of Donald and mother of Huey, Dewey, and Louie Duck. Next, the Swedish duck family tree, once again naming Della, and it's essentially the same, although I will note you'll see Donald's significant other, Daisy Duck, is named as a friend of the family here, but for some reason is like a part of the tree in the Michel Norp's duck family tree, but like not connected. It's a bit confusing. Finally, we have Der Stammbaum, Der Duck, the centerpiece of the 1999 reference book of the same name. This one was really big, and I could not find a high enough quality image to zoom in on anything, but it will come back several times later. Also, I wanted to shout out that in Shanghai Disney, which opened in 2016, there was just like another duck family tree that goes off an entirely different lineage, and it's Donald Duck's forefathers, does not at all relate to DuckTales, and is not considered canon.
Respect.
All right. Fuck, I forgot we had more trees. These are just some more trees as well. I did not have time to go into these. I will note, I found it very interesting that in the DuckTales 2017 version, both Bella Duck and her husband are blotted out a la Sirius Black style in the Duck family tree.
Whoa.
I found that interesting. Similarly, in Le Grand Famille de Duck, you can see him blotted out there. And let's see, was there any other area where... No, they just really the ink blot there. And I was like, let's double click on that. I will later, because I double clicked on it later. So first, I just want to explain the alternative genealogy brought forth by the German author, Johannes Groth. He proposes that instead of the mother of Huey, Dewey, and Louie being depicted as Della, Domella, or Thelma Duck, who is Donald's sister, it pretends that it's actually Donald's brother by blood, Ostman Duck, married to an unnamed female duck. This is the only source that says it's Donald's brother that is the father of Huey, Dewey, and Louie. So, you might be wondering, why the fuck was this presentation named something about Mr. Duck? He is, in fact, first mentioned in the 1937 comic Donald's Nephews. That's the first comic where Huey, Dewey, and Louie first appear. 37 is 13 years earlier than the first Duck family tree. In this, Huey, Dewey, and Louie set off a firecracker under Mr. Duck's chairs, accidentally sending him to the hospital. Thelma Duck, who is later known as Della Duck, then sends the nephews to Donald to be taken under their care. By 1938, the nephews had permanently gone under Donald's care, while Della had set off in what we later learned is an experimental space flight. She ended up trapped in an interstellar-type situation. So, also, I want to take this time to address the possible weird connection between Mr. Duck and Daisy Duck. Huey, Dewey, and Louie often called Daisy Duck Aunt. Daisy Duck is not married to Donald Duck in most portrayals of their relationship, so some portend that this is because Daisy is Mr. Duck's brother.
Wait,
meaning
question.
Yes.
I'm confused by what is happening here. Is he transitioning and this is the period of time he's transitioning? And he
Oh
gets
no,
more
this was just a
productive?
part of the template. Notice it says team productivity.
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
Ignore the graph.
Team productivity.
Okay, copy that.
Brother, it's your graph.
Don't read into the graph, but it was a nice connection between Mr. Duck and Daisy Duck. So this implies that Donald Duck may be heading into a double in-law marriage sort of situation where Donald and his sister are married to Daisy and her brother. So complicated family tree, which we have not yet seen. So here are some theories that have been commonly put out within the DuckTales fandom. First and foremost, I think the simplest one is he died in World War II. So
the simplest answer.
Why does he get drafted?
We know Donald got drafted. Walt Disney obviously showed that. So we know World War II existed within the DuckTales universe. Also, haircut. High and tight, kind of that of a soldier. Could have been a career guy. We don't actually currently quite know his career path. Maybe he died in World War II. The second and probably most common suggestion is he died by firecracker. This is the primary cause of Huey, Dewey, and Louie going to be taken care of by Donald, and is really the reason he was originally written off. There's another more out there theory that he is Tasmab. I have not tried saying this yet. Tasamja Fi, who appears in Return to Xanadu, a DuckTale, and an adaptation of Frank Capra's Lost Horizons. He's based on the High Llama, who in the High Llama of Lost Horizons, who in that movie was a European who was stuck in Shangri-La. But in this case, it's a duck who was stuck in Xanadu. And it's implied that it may be Huey and Dewey's father within the comic, but really never fully addressed.
Like Dalai Lama, like High Llama?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Just checking.
I'm just checking. Everyone else hears the music, right?
Yeah, this is awesome.
Wait, what music?
Okay.
Oh, I hear William's stream playing music.
Yeah.
I like left and came back, and I can confirm it's the stream.
Oh, I don't hear it.
It's very pleasant.
Hold on, I gotta turn.
All right, keep going.
Okay, I can continue.
Let someone else hears it.
Lastly, so we have Cosmo Duck, who was introduced in the Overnight Hero. So both Della and Cosmo are astronauts, and some people were like, hey, maybe they fucked in space like those two astronauts who are up there right now. The astronauts stuck in the space station for like 9 months.
Yep.
They're fucking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
But that also requires viewing the Overnight Heroes taking place 30 years earlier than it was written. I am personally not a huge fan of the Cosmo Duck father theory, but, you know, I felt it would be important to share it. So finally, I will put forward my theory of what happened to Mr. Duck. So, at some point, as we've seen in some 1940s Walt Disney films, Donald actually moved to Germany and worked in a German war factory. It's likely that at some point during the actual war, probably before the Americans declared war on, before Pearl Harbor, but after the start of World War II, possibly even during the phony war period, Donald was working in a German arms factory. So perhaps the whole family up and moved to Germany. So that maybe leaves Mr., or should I say in this case, Herr Duck, dying during the Battle of the Bulge. We know that American expats fought for the German army in World War II. And, for example, Operation Grief during Battle of the Bulge, they used American-speaking commandos in an attempt to sow discord behind enemy lines. I also wanted to highlight another interesting feature that this kind of supports is how did then Della Duck repatriate back to the States if her husband was a possible traitor, war criminal, and died during the Battle of the Bulge? I would say Operation Paperclip. So we know of the entire family's strong connections to rockets, the triplets, setting off the firecracker under Mr. Duck's care. Perhaps Della Duck was recruited by the American newly formed CIA as a rocket scientist during Operation Paperclip. To quote Mallory Archer, they were snapping up Krauts like hotcake during that period, which is how she actually ended up fairly early on as a young woman, as an astronaut, in a period when you really wouldn't see that in the, space race 1950s. Which is how she ended up trapped in space for... I actually don't know how many years because it's unclear how old Huey, Dewey, and Louie are. But she then returned because of gravitational issues, again, a la Interstellar. So, again, this is me just using some really quick Google's and Wikipedia research. Find what I think is probably a more likely theory than anything that was posited in the DuckTales Wikia. Other than really the firecracker death, which does seem likely. Although it does also support the death during World War II theory.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, question?
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
I don't know if you said this. What were the three nephews' names?
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Oh, that's great.
Also, I should note that Walt Disney was apolitical at a time of fascism, so there's a lot of talk of, was Walt a Nazi, wasn't he? I think at this time where fascism is on the rise, being apolitical in a time of fascism is tacit to supporting fascism. So I'll just make that as a comment. And lastly, I wanted to go back to this quote. Northern European, the natural home latitudes of ducks and geese. One of the last words of Karl Barks in his final duck family tree, perhaps hinting at their return to Germany during World War II.
The music is so good. I'm so glad I turned it up.
Yeah, I'm zoned in.
Huey,
that was only 12 slides?
Louis.
I'm still
packed.
Most dense slides ever.
Yeah.
William, I was listening to it all. I just had to pee, so I was listening to you while I was peeing. So I really
you have the music.
To be clear,
it took me
Randy
until like
his
slide
number.
9 to realize we were talking about Huey, Dewey, and Louie's dad, and not Donald's dad.
We were about to ask.
Dude, yeah, it was about Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
I was like sitting there. I was like, why does he keep bringing up the nephews? Like, what's going on?
Dude, who asked?
Huey and Louie. Wait, where does Goofy fit in there?
I have all of the family trees up in a different tab.
So wait, how are the McDucks related?
Yeah, well, it says that Donald's dad married a McDuck on that one.
Yes, yeah. Donald's dad married a McDuck. So Grandma Duck is sort of the matriarch of the Duck clan, whereas Scrooge McDuck is the patriarch of the McDuck clan. There's also the Cootkin, who are, I believe, also tied in. It's confusing.
Gander. I hardly know.
John Rosas is probably the best one.
Is it possible that the ducks reproduce in the same way that hagfish do?
Wait, look at all the Wikia tabs he has open.
Mans did his research.
William. Yeah, the music's back.
That's so William.
So this is the duck family tree, the De Rosa duck. This has a lot of publisher interference, so people are not super comfortable with it, but it does really flesh out, I think, Donald, one of the few with Della included, and clarifies the ducks, the coots, and the McDucks.
Yeah, wow.
I've never seen a family tree go up.
Is that a pirate duck?
Yes, yeah. So the duck family originates at pintail duck, who I believe is a pirate. I think he was active within the Caribbean. So very early American heritage for the duck family within that. But the
Humperdinck
Coots
duck.
kind of look German to me, which is why I think they do have some German heritage through the Coot clan or Coot kin. I think Clan McDuck is obviously the Scottish relatives.
Of course.
There's also some
Alright.
gooses.
I'm very curious what my German relatives have to say about the duck family. I will report back.
Oh, that is also an important note, which is interesting that the Germans with their family tree were trying to write out Della Duck entirely. That is this family tree, which again, this is not a large enough image to really zoom in on, but yes.
Wow.
Makes it think.
All right.
Thanks for diving into this, William.
Yeah, that
Otherwise
was
we
awesome.
wouldn't have known.
Really learned a lot.
This was a result of me going on a DuckTales rant yesterday with my coworkers and realizing I could do a PowerPoint about it.
Wait, so you started making this yesterday?
Yeah.
Great. Did you sleep?
Yeah. Took like 2 hours.
Are you conscious of how you're saying their names, or
Yes.
do we all...
Yeah. It's inspired by. Have you ever seen Magnolia?
No.
Okay, watch the intro to Magnolia, and I was trying to do that sort of vibe. Ben would have gotten it.
It was great. Honestly, I liked hearing it, and then I liked looking at Ryan and watching him react to you saying it.
I couldn't see anybody's reactions.
Oh, it was great every time.
It was awesome.
William, do you know which nephew Danny Pudi voices?
Oh,
he's the blue
I
one.
do not.
He's Huey.
Oh, he's Huey? That's the leader duck.
Nice.
Dewey is the middle child, and Louie is kind of the goofball. The Michelangelo.
The youngest. Everyone's either a Huey, a Louie, or a Dewey.
Which
You got a
DuckTales
heater
gave
now.
the best head?
Yeah.
We got a heater.
Theodore.
What?
Is it just down to y'all?
Raiji?
Raijin.
Oh,
You
yeah.
want to share? We got a heater.
I guess I'll go.
I love that you have a mic.
We're YouTubers now.
There you go. The Yo Gang is back.
Zach, what happened to your camera?
I was on my laptop, and then Discord just kept crashing, so I had to switch.
The 90-minute IPA was not a good choice.
Always a good choice.
We're in EP Dave mode now.
Oh yeah.
Do
Did we put you in the Ticket to Ride channel? You need to go to sleep.
Circa Ryan during the trivia game.
Oh, dude, Ryan was knocked. Whoa, hold on.
Whoa.
I gotta dial.
Oh.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Oh.
All right.
Sign me up.
Okay. I just titled this "A Workshop: A Guide to Your Sexual Reawakening," but really, what we're just talking about tonight is a bunch of smut. So I became obsessed with Kindle Unlimited last year, and this is the result. So I'm gonna do a deep dive into some of the incredible and transformative books that essentially come for free. I'm just starting with a couple honorable mentions, so we're just gonna run through those pretty quickly. Our first honorable mention is Unhinged by Vera Valentine. This book has a lot, and it's only 70 pages, so it's like a 30-minute read. And it's basically about a door that is sentient because Zeus, that slutty Greek god, jacked off into an oak tree knot hole, and then when said tree was cut down for wood, it just grew a consciousness.
What?
Something like that. I don't
Cut
know.
down
I
for
was
wood.
just skimming at this point. And then Dear Daddy Zeus gives the door a chance to become a real boy. but he can only become a real boy if he can get the woman who lives in the apartment he's the door of to fornicate with him. And it's weird, but as I wrote there, you know, she shines his knob before she shines his knob. So to be honest, there's some character development, which is great. And then he does get to actually be a real boy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Endorsed.
What's the creepy stalker danger?
Yeah, like her landlord tries to break in or something, and then he goes back to being a door, but then he goes back to being a guy.
We've all been there. Kind of, honestly, a classic trope in the Smut series.
Yeah, for real.
The second book is called Stuffed, and it's by Sylvia Morrow, and it's essentially Unhinged, but as a pillow. Which kind of makes sense because I found out after doing some research that Sylvia and Vera are best buddies. So, anyway, the main character likes to just hump her pillow so much because she's always horny, but she's afraid of getting touched. And so then what happens is it turns out her quote-unquote juices are what slowly bring her pillow to life. But unfortunately, he doesn't get to turn into a real boy. So she decides that before she can go all the way, she's got to give him a makeover. But to be honest, like, I didn't really enjoy this one.
Do we get like a Goodreads rating for each of these? Like, where would you put them?
So then, now we're going to do a little bit deeper of a dive into these books. Different books, don't worry. So the first one is by an author called Lola Faust. She has many Pulitzer Prize winning books, such as All I Want for Christmas is Utah Raptor, or Triceratops and Bottoms. But today, we're going to take a good hard look at 50 Shades of Gorgosaur. These are all real dinosaurs.
Whoa.
So this one just opens up with some... Oh, by the way, all of these images of people are AI generated. Yeah. Anyway, so we start with this girl, Alessandra. She's broke. She wants to escape her tiny apartment, stop eating ramen for dinner, and live out her thriving girl boss era / embrace her, quote, inner tigress.
Whoa.
Then we have Tristan Black, who is our Christian Grey. He's some billionaire CEO. The problem is that no one knows what he looks like. No one's ever met him. So because of that, he's gotta be sexy. And so because she's down bad, she applies to be his assistant and lands this job that pays $1.2 million a year. And it pays 1.2 because she has to dust dinosaur skulls, reschedule meetings, wear lingerie, and perform personal favors. And also deliver goats. So he's got scales and claws and a jawline designed to devour, and that's not just in the sexy metaphorical way. So her boss is a Gorgosaurus. And now Alessandra is knee-deep in these confusing spreadsheets and way too intense eye contact, and a prehistoric attraction she can't explain. So she be hopping on that dino dick. But when it comes to dinosaurs, love isn't extinct, it's just complicated. And now there's another assistant as well, who's just as into it, so that becomes a throuple, and sometimes the throuple has guests. And yeah. But all throughout, there's also like a bunch of religious subtext. So clearly it seemed that the writer was raised in some sort of very strict household, just wished it wasn't so shameful. I don't know. And then there's the Gorgosaur eating the goats and maybe trying to denounce Satan. I don't know. I haven't given it that much thought. But anyway, they all get married at the end in a throuple.
Whoa.
And they live happily ever after.
Whoa.
So some reviewer thoughts of this. They thought it was fantastic, crazy, but kind of hit the spot. Another one also had kind of great things to say overall, but commented that the Gorgosaur couldn't really speak. Only growled and spoke in like sexy bird sounds. But unfortunately, not everyone enjoyed this edition. Oops. I messed up. Yeah,
Worst
there you
book
go.
in the series.
This woman has... It's the worst one in all.
She's a connoisseur.
Yeah, she's read every single one.
That runs $1 million.
And overall, this was kind of my facial expression while I was reading this entire book. Love is blind, I guess.
These books should not count for a reading challenge.
So then the next one is kind of a sweet one. But some quick points I wanted to address first. There's a clear distinction between bestiality/animal cruelty and monster porn. Number 1 is, does it have intelligence? 2, can it talk or communicate? And 3, is it sexually mature? So, for example, if you ask someone or something, are you an adult or do you want to fuck? And the answer is hiss or gronk, you should not fuck it. But if it says certainly or of course, then by all means, hop on that shit. So, now that we've made that clear, I present to you all the first book that I read of all of this bunch, called Morning Glory Milking Farm.
No way.
It basically just kept coming up on my TikTok, and eventually I caved in. And before I really started this series, I told myself that I should savor this moment because I don't think my life will ever be the same. And frankly, that's true. So anyway, this girl, Violet, she needs a job to pay her bills until she can find work in whatever chosen profession she got a degree in. And she sees this posting at Morning Glory Farm and decides to take it. And it's all about milking minotaurs, so giving hand jobs to minotaurs. Because they use the cum in like a Viagra or something like that. And then she ends up not minding doing this and falls in love with one of her clients who she describes as like out of her league. Like addressing the whole milking thing, which is the most batshit crazy of any of this, not just him being a minotaur, is like she spends so much time in the beginning teaching the reader how she was taught to give them hand jobs. It's so descriptive. Anyway, and then that led me to be curious about like what's this setup that they describe. So they kind of talk about how it's a massage table, but it's got a glory hole. But then it's like angled at 45 degrees. I couldn't really do that with this photo. And then like you lay face down on that. I don't know. Oh well.
I think I've seen this one.
Yeah, me too.
Surprisingly,
this book is a surprising gem.
Everyone loves this. It's hard to find a review that's below 4 stars. And it even has its own like fan art pages, so we're gonna enjoy some of that here.
Whoa. Oh my god.
My god.
He's very handsome.
Alright, so anyway.
Are you telling me
Yes, the Resistance.
To that page?
And there's a lot here. So before I get into them, I want to set the stage and share a little bit about the author to put it into perspective. And she's written a lot of fantastic short stories, like the ones you see here. She also has a great tweet. Bad news, due to poor reviews, Amazon has removed The Perfect Poo, a fiery fecal romance. I'm heartbroken.
Oh man.
At the end of part 1 of her short story, she says, during the coronavirus pandemic of 2020, MJ Edwards turned her hand to writing, combining the 2 biggest parts of her life at that moment, the virus and sex. She hopes that you enjoy this book, and any similarities to real-life situations are purely coincidental. She lives in Surrey with her husband and 19 ferrets. But at the end of the second part of the short story, which was released later that same year, she had this to say. MJ Edwards has fallen lovingly into the role of titillation expert thanks to the response given to her debut book. She is now a part-time writer and part-time keyboardist in her local church band. Due to her husband's infidelity, MJ Edwards currently finds herself single and living with her grown son Richard, who is only partly supportive of her latest career choice.
What?
So now, the story. Oh, I felt it may be necessary to put a little bit of a disclaimer, because over 7 million people have died worldwide from this virus, and it affected a lot of people in more ways than one. And there's a lot of problems we see now, and there's a lot of problems we might not see for many years to come. But in any event, in the spirit of Mel Brooks, who said tragedy is when I cut my finger, comedy is when you fall into an open sewer and die, I present to you the next 2 stories, Kissing the Coronavirus 1 and 2. They're also an excellent example of how to perfect the simile. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It is really short, which is nice because you fly through it and then you don't have to go back and you're done. I don't. So we're going to meet our characters. Doctors Jay and Wobble are already dead because they had COVID. Then there's the head of the research team, Robert Gertlichend, who's a balding, short, pudgy man with a mustache, and the mustache is important. And then we have our main character, Dr. Alexa Ashington-Furd. She's a busty beauty who is working on a cure for COVID-19, but can't stop thinking about how sexy the virus is. All she wants to do is stick a test tube full of the creamy, bubbling virus in her supple, wet, Anyway,
Whoa.
As our tale begins, Dr. Alexa is under the hood and ready to get freaky because COVID is, quote, like a pulsating erect penis, desperate to unleash its devastation on anyone who touched it. I did actually at this point turn to Ryan and ask him if penises in fact are pulsating and erect and desperate to unleash devastation, but his answer was no.
What?
Anyway,
Speak for yourself,
Dr.
Ryan.
Alexa then drops Trow in the middle of the lab, ready to be the only person on Earth to be infected by COVID vaginally. But unfortunately for her, and very fortunately for us, Dr. Bob, her boss, kind of stops her, walks in on her. Bit of a boner killer, though. So anyway, they then develop this cure. Oop, I stopped tapping. Okay, they develop this cure, and he injects himself. And when he injects himself, he becomes like overwhelmed with the COVID disease, and then grows into some sort of a green man with six-pack abs and a huge dick. And he's covered in spike proteins and has eyes like a goat, I guess. So it also turns out that Dr. Alexa is immune to COVID because she caught it asymptomatically, because those two mean the same thing. So now there is zero barrier to doing the dirty in the sterile lab.
Nice.
And it proceeds by going, so they start making out, and his, quote, tongue so soft and hot like a chunk of microwave fish sloshing around inside her mouth.
Microwave fish?
That's crazy.
So, this leads to some pretty standard B&J and P&V with some colorful prose like his cock swelled like a balloon being filled with helium, rising up, standing to command. And he filled her with his love potion, which oozed out instantly and spread right across the floor. So anyway, they they quote embracingly embrace, and she no longer aches to be savaged vaginally.
Whoa.
What a happy ending. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So then the first reviewer here that I chose, she was kind of on the fence because she enjoyed it, but also had like a big what the fuck, but she also paid for it. So yeah, but the second reviewer enjoyed it, but then thought that the science fiction part of it should have been explored a little bit more. And like, holy shit, it's a 20-page erotica. I don't. Then I want to talk about some great quotes from this first short story. The author had originally written, Alexa's heart fluttered like it had done the time she fucked her farmer's cross-eyed son and uncrossed his eyes.
Wow.
Oh
Good Samaritan.
Doing some research, I found out that she got a lot of hate for this line, so she went back and edited it, and it became, Alexa's heart hammered harder than the time she was hammered by the carpet fitter when he came to fit carpets in her country manor. And that was a tongue twister.
Bars.
Oh my god.
Some others were she edged back, pushing back until her back pushed back against the wall.
When the beef stroke.
And the heater, she loved beards, and a mustache was only the start of a beard, like micropenises are just the start of real penises. You need the rest of it for it to be truly meaningful.
Wow.
Damn. No love for the micropene.
And of
Second
course,
wave.
that, like, I needed to see what happened next. I would the next one just be as good? And I mean, it's not. That being said, you can still give it a shot. So this book actually has one of the best opening lines in all of literature. It's Dr. Kelly Cauldron sniffed the hot dog into her vagina, filling herself up with the fat sausage, which she'd kept warm all morning in her thermos flask.
Hey, yo.
Anyway,
What?
when she isn't shoving lukewarm meat tubes up her vag, Dr. Kelly is giving people the vaccine, doing her part to inoculate the world against the seriously hot, deadly, and sexy coronavirus. But back to the wiener fucking. Dr. Kelly's in the bathroom at work, because was it supposed to... yeah. So this is Dr. Kelly. She's in the bathroom at work because there's the work bathrooms. I guess they're really sexy, and she's giving herself the old like heave ho with Oscar Mayer there. And when this is where we are granted some of the most disturbing sentences I've ever read in my life. She pushed the hot dog deep inside her pussy. She bit her lip as she caught sight of the pink baton peeking out of her minge flaps, imagining it was a hot cock. In and out the hot dog went, her creamy pussy juices coating the hot dog like mayonnaise. I mean, like, first, I don't think hot dogs should be that pink. And second, to my mother's greatest shame, I'm still not a doctor, but I think she should get the mayo thing checked out. So, anyway, turns out that she's a freak in the sheets also, or actually the woods, because she loves to go what's called dogging, which I guess is British slang for like the nature version of a glory hole. But anyways, we can make assumptions since it apparently leads to her sucking upwards of 9 penises a night. She gets her gob full of pre-children, which is a euphemism for semen I never needed. But like when not trying to dislocate her jaw, sucking 3 cocks at once, Dr. Kelly is giving people shots at all hours of the day at her 24-hour vaccination clinic. And it turns out she didn't even want to give these vaccines in the first place. The government came to her and said they would arrest her if she didn't. So then at this point in the story, I was sitting here thinking, like, is this some weird anti-vaxxer erotica, like railing against mandates and reputing science? But then I realized I was probably just thinking too hard. So anyway, her little pleasure session is interrupted by Dr. Bilkin, who's her boss, and then she needs to head back to keep doing vaccinations, but because she's rushing, she forgets that one of the hot dogs is still inside her.
Bruh.
Which is
when that happens.
insane. So then she vaccinates some patients until Bill shows up, and Bill has a huge cock, sexy abs, and after being vaccinated, he becomes distressed and admits that he had had a vaccine the week prior, which is a big no-no. So the second dose of the vaccine turns him into a blue monster with an even bigger dick, and he's what we call the cure. So obviously, when a sexy man like that comes along, there's immediate cock sucking and cunnilingus, accompanied by obviously the question, is that a hot dog? The cure seems to be totally into. So, but then before they can get to the old in and out, suddenly the door opens and fucking COVID walks in.
Of course.
This guy.
So then the two decide they have got to fight over the honor to who's going to give her the dicking down. And then they're grunting, they're lunging at each other, they're ready to kill each other. And then they decide love is actually better than war, and they start to make out. So then this is, quote, Cure's hand crept down COVID's rippling chest, caressing the enormous muscles until he stopped on his big fat willy. He stroked it like it was a guinea pig, squeaking in pleasure as it erected. And to be honest, like, if I was making a list of sexy animals, guinea pigs would be probably not at the very bottom, but pretty damn close. And then finally she decides she's got to jump in between the two and split them up, but then manages to get spit roasted. And I tried to get AI to generate a picture of that, and they absolutely...
What else would happen?
Otherwise, you can visit Pornhub.
What else would happen?
So now we're at the final reviews. And apparently Kissing the Coronavirus Part 2 was pretty divisive. One reader said that the first was better, but then another says that the second part was even better than the first, especially because of the homosexual acts. And then there's the reader who just doesn't know how to feel, but will definitely stick around for the next installment. The person who just thinks it's great content to beat off to. And another thing that I wanted to list, after reading these, this author, who I guess is from England, has some really creative terms for vagina, from minge flap to pocket of ecstasy, passion groove, and then my favorite, uncooked muscle.
Whoa.
Quotes from Part 2. In reference to the glizzy, she'd intended on eating the delicious meat tube for her lunch.
Mm-hmm.
In and out the hot dog went, her creamy pussy juices coating the hot dog like mayonnaise. Oh. And then, whilst she chewed away at a foreskin like it was an undercooked piece of chicken.
That I really don't like.
It's the similes. Similes.
Yeah.
So then with that, the big takeaway for me is that, food play can be fun, but please, ladies, let's not be sticking hot dogs up our cooch. Anyway, thank you for today's workshop. And please practice safe sex.
Randy, did you
I can't believe that after reading all that, it's me that has been banned from Kindle Direct Publishing.
Put you on a list.
Wait.
That's crazy.
Oh man. Wait, have you ever heard of Quan Mills? He's like the author. I was looking this up while you were. The Hoe Got Roaches in Her Crib, an urban satire, or The Old Thought Next Door.
Yeah.
Might be worth a read. I don't know.
Roaches? Oh man,
that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to say, I've never seen animations that good in any PowerPoint. Like not even
those
like
animations,
a real professional.
the editing was so impressive.
I don't know what the fuck you did. I didn't even know shit was capable of that.
It's Canva.
Oh, I was gonna say, is this slide?
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Canva party. That author is crazy. I feel like the cover to the second one was like, from the author that brought you, like, sex with the coronavirus, comes another sex with the coronavirus. I was like, half of these words are just the title of the book twice.
Wouldn't the coronavirus be avoiding the cure? Why was he so...
Forbidden love, Riley. It's a common trope.
He knew he was the Omega variant, so it was fine.
The vaccine gives you corona.
I do relate though to the poo play when it got, because a lot of people, they like think a book as a joke and then they like jokingly give 1 or 2 stars, but Amazon, if it's like below 3, like they pull it. Like my published book Senpai Wrong Hole, same story.
No fun, Amazon.
One day they'll come back. Is Ryan the last one left?
That was amazing, Ginny.
Yeah, that was great.
Very good. Okay. Alrighty.
All right, start Ryan's 1 hour timer.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be an hour. Don't worry. I'm gonna burn through.
10:40. Pedal to the metal PowerPoint.
Guys, everyone's PowerPoints have been so good. I'm saying this before Ryan's. But...
Yeah, you're sharing. Oh, you.
I see it.
All right, ready? Oh no.
No.
At the top right. The top right.
Where? Here.
There we go.
All right, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
I think so. Okay. So, all right. So I had too many ideas and I couldn't decide on one. So I made them all.
That's too many.
But that would take way too long. So welcome to every PowerPoint all at once. We're going to get the title slide and one random slide from each one. All right, let's burn through it. Let's see what's first. Why I like doing the dishes.
Oh,
By
yeah.
Ryan.
By Ryan.
All right. Okay. In economics, there's this concept of specialization.
I know this one.
I specifically want to point to the specialized one, and definition number 2: designed, trained, or fitted for one particular purpose or occupation. Huh? All right.
Are you looking at her because she's a woman and she's supposed to be doing dishes, Ryan?
No,
well, Ryan likes doing the dishes.
Ryan does the dishes all the
I
time.
made a whole PowerPoint on it, but this is all you're gonna get. This is all you have to. Well, no.
You have to dwell on this.
Next PowerPoint. The problem with the Harry Potter series.
No, again. It's so bad.
Okay, what are we gonna talk about here? problem number 2.
That's it. Oh.
Slavery?
Would have been awesome if
no.
that was just a section transition slide, and we just see.
Wow, okay. Damn, yeah. All right, next PowerPoint. Celebrating Hank's 10 years at company name. Okay, so this was one of the templates that I just thought was really good. Well, I didn't change a thing. All right, let's see what slide we get. Oh, yeah. Look how fun this guy is. I mean, they only got 6 pictures. But look, Anton,
the picture's the same.
It's Team B. Miss you already? Is he leaving? I guess he is. Thank you for everything, Lucas. Like, what? He always pushed the work to new heights. Team B again. And the sky's the limit. All right, Donna. Maybe he just looks like a fun guy. Look at him. Okay, next PowerPoint. Detective Show Formulas by Ryan. All right, number 3. I don't know what 1 or 2 were, but this is number 3. An innocent person lies for no reason. Oh, okay.
That's a good one.
Okay, cool. Excuses given and functions served. Excuses. Oh yeah. So usually there's a few excuses they'll give. Either I didn't think it was important, and it was like obviously it was. I was doing something illegal. I was covering for someone, or I'm not a narc. And then the last excuse, my wife thinks I was ... So those are the classics. And I believe this serves 3 functions for the show. It brings a familiar face back for the audience to recognize. They sometimes use it as the red herring suspect, but the audience knows there's too much time left in the episode, though. So no one really believes it. And it's also allows them to have less actors, less speaking part actors the show has to pay for. So good to keep that in mind. Okay, next PowerPoint. Troll 2, The Incredible Troll Story. Meet the actors. Okay. George Hardy. He is a dentist in U-Haul.
U-Haul.
Yeah, I can't remember.
U-Haul.
Utah. He's a dentist. Some of his patients recommended he audition for the movie, which just happened to be filming nearby. He figures, why not? It could be fun to be an extra or something. He gets a lead role. All right, next PowerPoint. Just pictures of Mochi.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, let's see what we get.
By Ryan and Mochi.
Yes.
Aw,
You love
pooping.
taking pictures for pooping.
Yeah, look at her. She sits like I do when I'm pooping.
Giving you eyes.
Ed poking out of the bowl.
Dude, that's poop posture right there. That's textbook poop posture. All right, next PowerPoint. Gardens Gaming highlight reel.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Damn. What are we gonna get?
We got 1 slide, so let's see.
Looks like you, right?
And we're all gonna watch it.
30 seconds left.
They closed this door already. They're on. Someone's here.
Ooh, good shot.
I think Sky's also here, right?
Cover going out.
Jesus.
That was a lot of damage.
I've got your trail.
They have KJO, so we have to kind of.
10 seconds left. Last player standing.
I couldn't see it.
120 on.
No way.
No charges.
And ult.
One enemy remaining.
He's one tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can't stop here.
Oh no. Let's fucking go. Holy shit.
That was great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, next PowerPoint.
No, that's mine.
Oh, whoops. Music that reminds me of you.
Oh wow.
By Ryan.
By Ryan.
All right, let's see. Songs that made me think of who's it gonna be? William.
Yeah.
Of course, Funeral by Wallace, because we all both agreed to DJ each other's funeral if it comes to it. I Know the End, or The End is Near? No, I Know the End.
That makes me think
By
of
Phoebe
William.
Bridgers, obviously. Emotional Motion Sickness? Is that what it's called? Something like that. By also Phoebe Bridgers, obviously. Pretty much anything by Medium Build. This Year by the Mountain Goats. Viva La Vida, because I know William loves that song, which is like a funny William fact. Hallucinogenics, because we saw him a Firefly. Anything by Nirvana. And I think that's it. Okay, next PowerPoint. Fuck it, let's rank the genders.
Whoa.
Bye, Ryan.
Clever.
All right. Number 23. Wow. What's it gonna be?
Yeah.
Men? Wow, honestly, that's better than I would have expected. I would have, like, that's almost top 20. That's not bad.
It's nationally ranked.
It's top
25.
Yeah. It's nationally ranked. Well, next PowerPoint.
Buffalo Bulls.
Okay.
I also almost used this template for one of mine.
I think this is the last one. Okay. Dream blunt rotation versus nightmare blunt rotation. Okay. Let's see. And so we're doing a dream blunt rotation slide. Okay. Category is shows I recently watched.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah, Goody and Dolo, that makes sense. From Shorzy, that makes sense. Sister Michael from Dairy Girls, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan G, oh yeah.
Oh,
Dylan G.
Yep.
And Sassy from Ted Lasso. Man, that's a good rotation right there.
Sister Michael.
All right, that's it.
Wow.
Wow.
Awesome.
Are we ever gonna see him? The whole
Wait,
thing.
Ryan, were all of those finished PowerPoints, or did you just like, oh my god?
I went through. Well, you have to. So it's like method acting. You have to get in the mindset of a full new PowerPoint. So they all had to be different styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you send them all in the group chat?
Yeah.
You want to show us?
I just want to know what music.
Save some of them for I think the Dream Blunt rotations.
Just
that's
drop
fine.
That's
one
gotta
a
stay.
week.
Could you send the music one?
Yeah. I'll send the music one because then that way everyone knows. But I felt bad doing that one because like not that many songs remind me of like everyone. So
yeah,
I didn't want to have people missing out.
William's a song heavy person.
Yeah.
William's a song heavy person.
When we did the album exchange, I don't think did I tell anyone, but yeah, my favorite by far playlist wise was Williams.
Oh yeah, his breakfast one, or
yeah.
I think that is the only one I have saved too. What is it called?
I loved all of them though. I loved them all. Victor, always.
I think
what's
it's 5
the one
songs.
that? It's like the '70s song, but I told you that it's actually about.
Dancing
in the Moonlight. It's actually about like a horrible story.
That's
right.
Yeah.
That's like what a night, like late December. That's about losing your virginity, but everyone knows that song.
So we're actually gonna do a Slido right now for everyone to vote on that.
Yep.
Oh my
if you
gosh.
finish last, you won't be invited to the next PowerPoint party.
Oh, you get relegated.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Relegations, yeah.
Relegation and Whelming.
It's me, Mark Pacheco, Shane, who does not show up.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Wow. When was the last time we had a PowerPoint party? It felt like it was a decent amount of time. I guess I could. Oh no, it was maybe a year ago because I think I made one that I got a cat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's been just a year. That's a perfect amount of time. but we could do them more often.
Well done to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did one in 2021 at the beach.
I remember that.
Right.
We did I did at least one over Zoom.
There was one more for sure. In person
I have
also.
one April 21st, 2024.
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's basically a month.
Or
no,
I don't know if the date's right, but
or a year.
It is because I adopted Wrath at the end of March.
Wow.
His
Riley,
birthday's coming up.
Are you still recording?
Yeah.
Should we say a secret word for Ben at this part that he has to tell us to make to see if he was like, oh, okay, that was the end of the PowerPoint. I'm not watching the rest of it.
We should have done it like the 70% mark. And like
he'll skip to the end. He'll skip to the end.
Yeah. Somewhere around 2038 in Dave's PowerPoint.
Hey, it didn't get that far. We're still on 2032. 2032.
You're gonna win.
Well, actually, the 22-32 season is done. I just haven't uploaded it into the PowerPoint yet, and I'm playing through 2033 right now.
Are there like Easter eggs? Like if you hit 2100 in the game?
So it only goes 30 years, so it ends you at 2052. So I'm up against the deadline here. But, you know, Buffalo's a small market team, so I'm trying to win it out. Zach, see me go to the big schools before. I'm trying to stay true to my roots here.
You won a national championship.
Yeah, but I moved from ECU to Penn State, and that wasn't worth it. And then, you know, in Dave's Dynasty 3 Big East Brawl, it took me like 10 years to win with Rutgers. So.
Wait, William, who was the dad of? What were the three kids?
Dewey, and Louie.
I was so glad it was just me.
That's
that
so
was
funny.
Awesome.
Oh, God.
Yeah, what a good crop of PowerPoints.
Yeah. When William said that, I was peeing and I laughed so much I accidentally like hit the side of the bowl and had to like wipe it.
Wow.
Alright.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't have any more closing remarks, I'm going to end the recording.
Babooey.
Bye, Ben. Or hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
To anyone who
Bye,
wants
Ben.
to watch.
Ben. Hi, Kel.
Hi, Kelsey.
And
Thanks for
Michelle.
watching, guys.
Thanks
Sad
for
you
watching.
couldn't be here.
Hi, Mom.
If Mark ever watches this, hey, Mark.